bad start there. Escher straight into P1. Eddie close behind the pair as we head into the first corner and the first set of corners. It looks like Ultimate K's trying to make some moves around the outside there, under threat from HGM1.
Yeah, just centimeters separating the cars as Keza slots in ahead. Very, very close stuff there. Escher with a brilliant start, already leading by half a second. Matt's lucky to stay in P2 despite all that. Eddie, though, has Manfred now. Goes down to last, but Eddie's lost the rear.
Oh my god, Matt's also almost losing the rear, and that leaves them... oh my god, they're bumping completely off of each other, almost letting Scuderia Condor and Ultimate K's looking for a move on Scuderia Condor, unable to do it. Eddie being the one losing out there. All sorts of shambles happening.
Absolute chaos, but I think they're all living to fight another day, as I think they got away with that without sustaining any serious damage. But yeah, it's just argy-bargy all over the place right now. There's zero grip on this track, on this tire. Does live to fight another day, as Tom Goodwrench now into the pits as well. Fennec and Manfred.
Oh, Andrew, I think making a mistake there, losing it to Matt. Oh, and both drivers off. That's Eddie and Andrew off the track there. What on earth happened there?
Yeah, not entirely. Meanwhile, Mats is going for a move around the outside of Escher for the lead of the race, and he makes it stick.
Absolutely nailing it, going all the way around the outside. Just perfectly placing his car there. As we see Cuckoo and Xevious once again very close together, and in front as well, extremely close. That's Wild Mammoth, which is Cuckoo's teammate, getting in contact, and it looks like they're 3 wide. Almost go through that corner. That was incredibly close there between the drivers.
Yeah, this is some thrilling stuff, though. I'm sure if you are the driver getting tapped, you're not going to want to see that happen, as HGM1 now under threat from Xevious behind. These positions are changing so quickly. It is. That's about it for that fight. Then for P10, it's Eddie versus Condor and Trouble. And I think the people behind them are basically just others who have already pitted.
Indeed, as we see Trouble look for a move round the outside of Condor. Can he make it around the outside? It's a very, very long way to go, but it looks like he's got the strength and has just absolutely nailed Condor around the outside there.
Yeah, that was a clinical move there
from the
Trouble.
Outside slots back into position behind their teammate.
As we take a look at Cuckoo's POV and all the spray at the 2 ahead. So once again, the inside line for Cuckoo. Mammoth being washed out wide.
Yeah, I definitely think Cuckoo is going to be the more confident out of the 2 drivers from the looks today, as Wild Mammoth.
It looks like we have about half the lobby here fighting for this P4 position. It's very, very competitive, as Keza edges ever closer to Escher as well. Only 8/10 behind now for that 2nd place.
Cuckoo trying it down the inside. We saw their teammate try to make the move on them at this exact place, but I think Cuckoo, are they going to be able to hold it around the outside? They are, and What Mammoth as well, putting his nose in. They're too wide of the teammates with each other. They've both made it past in 1 corner.
I mean, that was a really nice move by Mammoth on speed, but Keza seems to be struggling. He's lost 5 seconds this lap.
I wonder, could that be due to potential spin? Hopefully that isn't his normal pace, as Xevious looks for it on the HM1, but it's going to be Eddie trying it on Xevious, and it looks like he's almost forced onto the grass, and he's off the track. Eddie spins from possibly being forced off the track there by Xevious.
Yeah, that is hugely unfortunate.
Yeah, Wild though still close to Cuckoo, as we're going to have Matt across the line to win the sprint race.
As he does so while lapping other cars in a dominant fashion. Escher just behind finishes in 2nd place with a still safe gap to Keza in 3rd. Meanwhile, though, the 2 teammates still fighting it out in the final corner. But unless the puddles claim another victim, I think that will be the position for Cuckoo.
Oh!
I like how they both took complete opposite lines there. As it looks like it's a comfortable start for Mats. Keza joins him in 2nd, so it's a current 1-2 for their team. Eddie, though, not wanting to give Keza any breathing space, practically pushing him down that straight, looking to get a better exit onto the main straight, but looks like he's been a bit too slow in that slow corner there. We're going to go on board, see if he has a run. He does, so he's going to go to the inside. Not aquaplaning off of that puddle yet, as we see Gillish serving his drive-through already.
As Eddie down the inside. And both drivers go! Oh, and there's contact! And Ultimate Kaiser almost spilling fully around. I don't think Kaiser was left too much room there.
But considering the championship here, if Kaiser finishes this race anywhere near where he is now, as he's currently losing P1 to the inside with Mammoth.
That was
left the door open.
Quite the lunge by Mammoth, and Ultimate Kaiser just able to slot ahead of Wild Mammoth before the next corner.
That's brought Andrew a little closer as well. But yeah, Kaiser leaving the door open. It's unlikely to go for a move into some of these medium speed corners, as he has another look into the slow sector 3 turns. And Andrew spun! And he's hit by Cuckoo. That is probably going to be a lot of damage. Veilside, is Veilside going to have a look? He is.
Down the inside, a bit of contact, and it looks like Cuckoo, off the track. Veilside just waiting behind, but
Cuckoo's been rear-ended by HGM1. I think Veilside slowed down there because he took the blame for it. And HGM1 was not expecting all those slow cars and just ran into the back of Cuckoo.
That's going to be quite the repair time. Luckily, he hasn't done his mandatory pit stop, but
it's not going to make much of a difference when his car is that broken, unfortunately.
Yeah, he is being gained on by Veilside and Ultimate K, so I think they're going to be hoping that they don't get held up too much by this individual, as they get him quite rapidly. Oh my god! There's contact between Veilside and HGM1, and that is HGM1 losing his rear end and off into the grass.
Now, are they both going to go for the same puddle line? It looks like they are.
Oh, Veilside
wiggle.
Almost losing it down the main straight, and that's going to allow Ultimate Case to gain.
I mean, Case is in the motorcycle inspired.
Does Veilside losing the car and off into the gravel.
Yeah, that's pretty much a double half spin there, so that's cost him 2 positions, potentially 3, as Cuckoo now sends it down the inside into the next corner, but still side by side. Is he going to be able to keep his nose in there?
Yeah, I mean, it's all it seems to be happening on this lap 19, as we see another squad of death, and just behind we got Scuderia Condor versus Matt, and even further behind it looks like Trouble and Andrew almost going side by side, and that's Andrew off into the grass, just keeping it facing forward. Wow!
What a save. Just that little nudge from the wall was all he needed to not absolutely die.
Yeah, just in front as well. Cuckoo and Ultimate K's very, very close as they go too wide into turn 1. Ultimate K's was on the inside, now on the outside, as he loses traction, but his car's still there, but I think he's just gonna give up the line. But Cuckoo slowed down by the puddle that allows Ultimate K's back up next to them, and they're just going side by side through this S section, and just incredibly close. Can Ultimate K's still hold on to this P3? They're side by side for the entirety of Sector 1, and then go still side by side. Ultimate K's onto the grass.
Oh, and that's Cuckoo overcooking it in the final corner.
That's allowed both Ultimate K's and Svi to get up. These guys were quite spread. And even, I think that's Escher in the background gaining quite significantly on these 3 cars. As they head to the first corner, it's Ultimate K's next to Svi. Cuckoo just in front. They go too wide into the first corner. Ultimate K's later on the brakes, but can Svi hold it all the way around the inside? He's got the inside to the next corner, as Ultimate K's has to try and hold it around the outside. But remember that puddle on the inside of turn 4. And that's allowed Ultimate K's to come back at Svi again as they go 2 by 2. Can Svi get the switch back? He looks like he's got the better run off the corner as Ultimate K's goes semi-defensive, but Svi looks for that inside line, and is he able to make the move inside line into the next corner? And I think that The Ultimate Case is just able to keep this. Oh no, Svi actually is made. I can work out which car was what. Svi's actually made it up into P4.
What's it gonna be for P3 is the main question though, as it looks like Mammoth is going on to win this race. Svi, I think, just ended his chances there by putting a wheel on the curb. Escher has flown off the track.
No, Escher on the final lap. That is incredibly unfortunate.
And it's cost him 4 positions. So that is very, that's about as bad as it could go on a final lap of a race.
I mean, except for losing a tire,
but Cuckoo's gonna take third if they don't have a cow on the puddle.
Yeah, indeed. Look like Speed took that a lot more confidently, but it's just not close enough as they cross the line.
And we have Mats in 6th. Out of nowhere, he's managed to come within, well, not that much time of the lead, really. That's a good recovery drive there from Mats, as looks like most other people are surviving the puddle on their last time of asking. Well, Gillish there almost cursing himself.
Oh! And that's Xevious into the wall and getting commentator curse. And hello viewers, and welcome to a very sunny Velo Citta for the final round of the MSR Formula Interleague, and as always joined by WMDR Martin.
Greetings.
And yeah, a lot more sunny than what we previously had in the last round at Cavello, where it was absolutely pouring. And yeah, hopefully that means we'll have some, maybe a less eventful race, but some closer side-by-side racing on this very sweeping track.
Yeah, and of course last week with all the standing water out on track, it was pretty difficult to navigate, especially the straight. But I think the only water we're going to see on track tonight is going to be that of the tears of the people that lose tonight, because this is, of course, the season finale. It's going to be the night where winners and losers will be crowned and shamed. And Nismo, can you maybe introduce our viewers to our main title contenders tonight?
Yeah, so Ultimate K's the current championship leader, actually leading from round 1. 23 points ahead of Chronicula Cuckoo, so it's going to be very hard for Cuckoo to try and take that championship away from Kaiser on these final 2 races, but there is still a chance and a glimmer of hope for Cuckoo. Gillis Homan in 3rd place, a MSR championship winner, but they might just be out of contention. 51 points ahead of the leader for the championship win, sorry. And yeah, Andrew in 4th place in championship, Escher in 5th, Fennec in 6th, Trouble in 7th, Mats VR 46 surprisingly in 8th place, Malpova a rookie in 9th, and Exus in 10th, a MSR member.
And it's pretty close for the team standings as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, very. Moisty GP, that's Ultimate K's, and Mats VR currently leading the championships, the team standings. Peaky Blunders with Cuckoo and Wild Mammoth in 2nd place. They had a really good race last week, getting a 1-2 for their team in the feature race. SDI Racing. Hold on, who's it? I forgot who's SDI. Oh, Escher and Fennec in 3rd place. Team Tree Hugger with Gillish and Vealside in 4th. And yeah, Sentinel Motorsport in 5th. Eddie Jordan's Revenge in 6th. Toes and Camels Motorsport in 7th. Alonso Stan Account in 8th. Team and Matt in 9th. And Zob Racing in 10th.
As the end of quali is near, we now have Mats and Mammoth both done with their laps. I think Andrew might have just finished his as well. So that's our current top 3, Mats, Andrew, and Mammoth, separated by just under half a second. Eddie still in 4th, although I think he's just finished his lap as well, so not that many people still left out on track. And we've only got 16 people tonight, so a bit of a limited show.
Yeah, some of the reserve drivers not being able to help out for tonight. And some drivers, yeah, not able to attend. I don't think Gillish tonight is able to attend, so that is very unfortunate for his championship chances.
That it is, but I'm sure we're still gonna see plenty of close racing tonight, as it is quite an interesting track. I'd say it's very, very quick sectors 1 and 2, and then sector 3 is basically a go-kart track with not a whole lot of margin for error, but definitely plenty of opportunities to send it up the inside.
Indeed, so it's going to be Matt's VR46 to take pole for the final sprint race of the year. Andrew lined up next to him, Wild Mammoth in 3rd place, Eddie in 4th, Cuckoo in 5th, Malpava in 6th, Escher in 7th, Scuderia Condor in 8th, Exevius in 9th, Ultimate K's in 10th, Fennec in 11th, HGM1 in 12th, Jedlin in 13th, Trouble in 14th, Exus in 15th, and Max Manfred at the back in 16th place.
That's quite a poor showing from Keza. They're only qualifying 10th out of 16 for the season finale sprint.
Yeah, indeed, and I mean, Cuckoo is going to need those absolute valuable points. If they can get even further up the field, and if Keza stays down there, going into this final race, it could be extremely close for the title win.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not quite sure what the position requirements are, but basically it comes down to Cuckoo having a good race with nothing too much going wrong, and Keza having an absolute stinker of an evening. So watch out for those two drivers tonight.
Oh, there's Trouble in the chat saying he's quite far off the pace, starting in 14th. And that
Trouble extending his tradition of using the race as a setup test session.
They're saying that he's going to make a on-the-fly setup change right now. So whether it's going to end good or bad for him, even he doesn't know.
Yeah, let's just take a look at Trouble POV here as he sits down in 14th out of 16. So yeah, only beat 2 people in qualifying. It's definitely warranted for a setup change there. Although in F1, that would definitely send you to the pit lane.
As the lights get ready. Oh, and the camera, just switch the camera again. It's green flag racing. Martin, change the camera.
Oh, it's fine on my screen, dang it.
Oh, it's done it again. Yeah, there we go. It's Andrew getting a really good start, trying to make it all the way around Matt's, but Matt's holding that inside line there, 2x2, almost 3 wide as I believe Eddie pushing his nose in almost between Andrew and Matt, and Andrew looking for the move, takes it down the inside of Matt, and there's a bit of contact between Malpava, and I think that was good. There's
another car off in the back. I think that might be Jedlin. It is Jedlin.
How many cars was
taking
that?
The lead.
I wonder if that was 3 cars or if that was multiple separate incidents. As 2 wide goes Ultimate K's on Wild Mammoth. These two battling quite a bit last time. Ultimate K's gaining about 5 positions already on this start of the lap.
Yeah, and he's basically swapped positions with Cuckoo down in 10th now, so I think you can add that one to the pre-race curse list there. Keza having a great start to his race, and Cuckoo down now in 9th, having a stinker.
Yeah, that is very, very unfortunate. As they all make it into Sector 3, very, very winding corners as we go left, then into a very, very long right, so most people are going to be going single file through this section.
Looks like there's a bit of contact ahead between Condor and Exevius, but they make it out unscathed. For the top 3, though, Eddie's still in 3rd, chasing Matt, chasing Andrew, and Mammoth is about a 2nd behind this pack. And it's definitely interesting as well. Looking at these guys throughout practice, you can definitely tell that some drivers are keeping the car within a safe performance window, and others are just pushing it to the absolute limit of the grip. And with these cars, you never really have that much rear end to play with, so it's definitely high risk, high reward driving strategies for sure out in the front. As you can see, Matt's there using all the curb that he possibly can get away with.
Yeah, indeed. I think Matt's still going to be wanting to get back past Andrew. Eddie going a bit deep into that corner. Ooh, another camera for me to change. So yeah, Eddie.
You'd have to zoom out on all of these, you know.
Yeah. Eddie though still clinging to the back of Matt. Matt's
Yeah,
not having.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, Matt's not having the best of races last week, having to get a drive-through. Can he redeem himself today?
And it's interesting. It looks like most of the field is already essentially spread out and clumped together into several packs. You have this fight here for P1, which is essentially a 4-car fight now, with Mammoth getting a little bit closer. Then behind them, you have another battle unfolding for P7 between Condor and Cuckoo. So Cuckoo making up another spot there in the in those early laps. But the main fight right now is going on for P9, with Trouble, HGM1, Fennec, Mopiva, and Manfred essentially all involved, as we see a little bit of side-by-side action into T1.
Yeah, indeed. As I think that's Fennec off the track and hit absolutely murdering the 50 meter barrier.
Now, does that give you wing damage in this car, or?
I would not know. I mean, possibly. We know how inconsistent AMS can be sometimes.
That is very, very true, as Matt's still very, very close to Andrew. He essentially just has to make one mistake for Matt's to be able to get through, so this is a really, really tight battle out in front, which we're going to follow now with the Helicam.
Yeah, Andrew hasn't yet, for being the winner of the last season, hasn't actually had a single step on the podium, let alone a win out of this entire series.
Yeah, I think consistency might be a bit of a struggling point there, as I think that was Eddie almost going into the back of
just behind
there.
Wild Mammoth as well, trying to poke his nose down the inside of Eddie.
As we go back on board with Mammoth in P4, looks like Eddie's got a bit of a better exit than Matt's up ahead. So go into each other's slipstream down to turn 1. I don't think anyone's close enough for a lunge just yet. But Eddie, though, very, very deep on the brakes, risking touching the car ahead with that wing. Mammoth playing it a bit safer for now.
Yeah, very much. Eddie getting a massive slide, but able to correct it. Wild Mammoth trying to take advantage of that, going too wide up the hill. Eddie defending the inside of this next right-hand corner. Can Wild Mammoth make it around the outside? Extremely close between the drivers. Almost contact. But Eddie just staying in the podium position of P3 for now.
And Kaze is absolutely loving that, because he's getting very, very close to that P3 fight now. But in the meantime, Matt's sliding around that corner, stuck to that proverbial bumper of Andrew just up ahead. I mean, he's really got a chance into almost every corner now if he really commits to a lunge.
Talking about lunges, he almost looks for it into the next corner. Andrew, knowing potentially the limitations of each other's cars.
And just behind as well, this battle extending even more now. I think Escher is almost about to approach these guys as well. Escher, of course, performing quite well in this car pace-wise this season, as that's side-by-side. I think that's...
Wild Mammoth and Eddie going too wide, and that's Ultimate K's as well getting involved. Ultimate K's ducking his nose there, 3 wide, going through this final corner. But Ultimate K's slotting back into the slipstream. Will either of them look for a move there? Once again, 3 wide. K's backing out for the second time as they head into turn 1. And
apologies for my bad commentary there. I was just very thrown off by seeing Eddie in that car.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Eddie, a sub driver, doing really good actually for a sub driver.
Is that the third team he's driven for this season, or is that just me imagining things?
I think it might be, yes. So, ooh, Eddie losing the rear a bit on the grass, having to now defend from the likes of Ultimate K's, but he's lost the inside into this hard braking point. Ultimate K's later on the brakes, has the inside line. Escher as well, trying to look for a move on Eddie. They're now too wide, and Eddie has been too wide with 3 people this lap, all on separate occasions, and I think Eddie's going to potentially lose all 3 of those positions in 1 lap.
No, it looks like Escher decided to back out of that one because it's a very, very sharp corner. Difficult to go side by side there. But yeah, Eddie kind of making a mistake there fighting against Keza, because what he could have done is slow down a bit more and stay closer to the inside so the inside doesn't open up for Keza, but he decided to keep the foot in it, which means he can't really steer to the left as sharply as he could have at a lower speed, and that then opened the gap on the inside for Keza, who had the better exit to just immediately slot into. So good move from Keza there. He is now well set to fight for P3 with Mammoth. And just up ahead, Matt, still half a second behind Andrew. He's not quite been as close as we've seen him, so I don't think there's going to be too much happening here, especially not if he makes mistakes like those.
Yeah, indeed. Just touching the grass. Mistakes like that are going to help Andrew as we see him going a bit wide. As, yeah, thank you, Manu for the, Manu for the, follow.
Looks like the fight up ahead is still ongoing for this position, but everyone's kind of spread out a little bit, trying to catch each other, so this is going to take a little while to heat up again. I think there's some closer action here for P10, though.
And as we go up the hill, it's Xevious looking for the inside move on Malpova. Malpova almost getting taken by Exus as well, as all 5 of these cars are extremely close.
Yeah, Mopiva not having the strongest pace at the moment, so I'm wondering if he might have gotten some damage on his car from that earlier excursion at the start of the race, but he's definitely still having fun, I'd assume, because this is some great fighting that we're seeing regardless of position.
Indeed, as we see these 4 cars, not 5, head into the final swooping sector.
Yeah, and this really is the one where you can try and lunge it if the car ahead doesn't defend hard enough, but there's just so many lines you can take into these final few corners.
To be honest, it reminds me a bit of, before we get into the final corner, the...
Oh, hold that thought. Kaze has lost a bunch of positions.
Ooh.
I think he might have had a half spin. He's down into 8th now from 4th.
That's going to be very good for Cuckoo, who's just 1 car ahead of Kaiser, which brings their chances of the championship back into play.
Absolutely. So Cuckoo now a good 4 seconds behind Escher still, so it's not going to make that much of a difference. They're going to have to hope that something happens just ahead as Condor and Keza put extra pressure on behind them. But yeah, this fight seems to definitely not be dying out just yet. Mopivo looking to get those positions back. Xevious looking to overtake Trouble around the outside. Ends up shipping a spot to the inside to Mopiva. So that's one of those cases where you just go on the offensive and end up neglecting your defense, as Mopiva now overtaking another car, going past Trouble around the outside this time.
Xevious as well, trying to make it around the outside of the hairpin. And I think might actually surprisingly have the run on Trouble, who's now actually defending from Exus as well.
This is just changing corner after corner. It's very, very hard to keep track of who's doing what, but it looks like Trouble's holding on to that position for now. But Exus and Jedlin, who had a bit of an incident... No, sorry. Jedlin and Fennec, who went off track earlier, now approaching this fight as well, and they have pretty decent pace, so this could turn into a fight that involves almost half the grid.
Yeah, quite right. And whether that will bring out a safety car or not is the question. Out of 2 of the 3 rounds, official rounds that we've had, there has been no safety. There's been 1 safety car. Sorry. Out of all the rounds that we've had so far. No, sorry, I'm trying to think from the top of my head.
I've definitely bet against it tonight. I don't think we're going to be seeing any.
Yeah, indeed. I'm trying. No, yeah, two. We've only had two safety cars this whole league, and that was in the first round. As we see, Ultimate K's go side by side with Scuderia Condor. Scuderia Condor has the inside line though, but Ultimate K's later on the break tries it around the outside, still side by side with Condor. Does he have the run out of the corner? Looks like equal runs, if not Scuderia Condor possibly having a slightly better one.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a cheeky exit out of that one because Condor went, turned in a little late there to defend the position. Now, Keza somehow holding on to that line and does slide in ahead of Condor. But yeah, the corner before that, Condor did have a cheeky little tap on Keza's inside, which messed up his exit somewhat. But Keza still overtaking regardless of that. So that's a good move on his part. Now he's right behind his main title rival for this short season, which is Cuckoo in P6.
Is 23 points ahead, so as long as Ultimate Case pretty much stays behind Cuckoo, there still won't be too much for him to worry about championship-wise until we get to the main feature race. But we're watching a very, very close fight indeed. Exus, Trouble, and Jedlin.
Oh, look at that move from Jedlin there, down the inside of two cars.
Indeed, it looks like almost 3 wide. The two teammates possibly helping each other there as they head into the first corner.
But Exus has that inside line. What's he going to do with it?
Whoa, and that's Jedlin off. That allows Phoenix to get up into P14.
Yeah, just put a little bit too much of that car onto the curb there. It's cost him a lot of exit speed and a position or two, but definitely still in this fight for sure, as it looks like Fennec now trying to make a move on the outside of Exus as well. Exus under a ton of pressure tonight.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, as much as this racing is towards the back, these drivers not giving each other an absolute inch, as that's Jedling trying to come back at Exus down the inside. Ooh, the driver's so close. Even trying to move on Fennec, as I think Fennec's off onto the grass. Wait, is he?
No,
he's just went off my camera.
Yeah, I think he might have gone a bit deep into the corner because he got tapped in the rear by Exus there, braking extra late. But it looks like for now, Jedlin recovering those two positions, and Exus struggling in his fight with Fennec, losing a few more. Meanwhile, in the fight for P1, Mats is getting slightly closer to Andrew, but not quite close enough to go for any sort of meaningful lunge just yet. Mammoth still within the fight as well. If they make any sort of mistake in these final 3 laps, still has a chance to win this race. Escher, though, really getting a lot of pressure now from Eddie behind for P4, and Cuckoo still seems to be safely ahead of Keza by about 2 seconds.
Yeah.
As I say that, Keza flies off the track. Can add that one to the first list.
I'm already on it. So this could mean absolutely crazy things for the championship, because he's got Malpo and Xavius behind, and if they gain as well, this could be a really close fight going into the final race.
One more spin and it'll send him from P9 down to P15, so he has to be careful with just 3 laps to go. And is it just me, or is he going slightly slowly? No, it's just the car. Okay. So Keza seems to be fine for now. I don't think he's got any major damage. Meanwhile, Matt's still fighting for P1, but again, no chances being given by Andrew. Yeah,
indeed. And as much as Andrew is in P4 and Matt is in P8, only 20 points separate Andrew and Matt. So it's still all to play for between Matt, Trouble, Fennec, Escher, and Andrew.
Yeah, and especially in race 2 with all the extra points on the line, it's going to be very, very interesting for the championship for sure. As, yeah, it looks like Exus might be dropping off of this fight just a little bit, or that might just be the camera frame being weird. Never mind that. Let's go back to the fight for the lead. Matt's now within 2.5 tenths of Andrew, going on to lap 11 of 13.
Indeed. And as you said, if Andrew makes one mistake, and he potentially just has, then Matt will pounce and pounce. Oh, I've lost the camera again.
Oh, hold on.
And thanks, and pounce he has. as he tries a move around the outside, though Andrew doing a masterclass of defense this entire race, keeping Mats behind.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Cuckoo level of defense tonight. This is really, really good stuff from Andrew. And if he's able to keep this up in future seasons, I do think we may end up seeing a new champion. But that'll definitely take a lot more consistency from this top driver that we've got here racing tonight. But Matt's really trying his best now into these final 2 laps to get any sort of move going. And he had a really good chance, but just wasn't able to pull it off with how Andrew parked it on the inside in every single corner.
Yeah, indeed. Andrew is already a champion, I'm pretty sure, by the way. In his,
Well, I have the memory of a goldfish. So.
in his rookie season, he won the Oval League, if I'm not mistaken, which is quite funny. But this is indeed not an oval. So
hold on, it looks like Jedlin's lost a position to Exus and Fennec as well.
Oh, there's contact!
And Jedlin is the big loser in that fight. Unfortunately, not quite sure who's to blame for it because we only really caught it right at the end of it. But yeah, that was quite unfortunate because that was a multi-car battle that had a lot of potential. But it looks now like Exus has either made a mistake or he's let Jedlin back through.
I think on the mini-map I saw that he was slowing down, so I think this is just some gentleman rules here, and I think Exus has let Jedlin through.
Very, very nice to see indeed, as Mopiva and Xevious are 4 seconds off of Kizu, so I don't think they're going to be threatening him too much for P9, but they might still interact with each other if they can keep it on the road. Meanwhile, it seems like Eddie's had an incident of his own as he's dropped off by 6 seconds off of Escher, putting Cuckoo back up into P5.
Oh yeah, I do need to have a quick drink. Here you go, Karlova. As Karlov describing Andrew as the British Minister of Defence.
As it looks like Mats took a lot of curb there.
Yeah, going over the sausages. What man down? Where has he come from?
Oh, that was a Max Verstappen lunge if I've ever seen one. My goodness.
And
where's Mats? Okay, so Mats is still on the track, but he's lost 2 full seconds to the leader, so that has absolutely destroyed his chances of winning the sprint race. Now, just 1 lap left to go, and Andrew is looking pretty cozy in that position. That may well be a post-race penalty for Mammoth.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, that lunge was that. I think Max Verstappen wouldn't go for a move like that. I mean,
he did in Mexico.
Okay, he might go for a move. As
Fennec is looking to go for a move on Trouble, but a lot more civilized from the looks of it so far.
Yeah, indeed. At least compared to what we've just seen. As Fennec getting the run and in the slipstream of Trouble. Heads to the outside. Trouble defending the inside. Has a lot better of a run as they head into the first corner for the final time during the sprint race. And incredibly close. Trouble perfectly getting in front of Fennec there and keeping him behind.
As we go past the monkey braking marker signs, which seem to be unique to this track. But yeah, Fennec looking in all the corners, not able to get any opportunities yet because Trouble, I think, taking a bit of a lesson there from Cuckoo and Andrew on defense and absolutely parking it on every single apex.
Yeah, indeed, as Trouble just defending in the inside, keeping Fennec behind. Who's going to get the better run out of the corner? Fennec takes a bit of grass there, and I think
going into the previous corner, as Andrew has officially won this race, so congrats to him. Matt's in second, Mammoth in third. But I think there, if Fennec had just gone to the inside going into that previous corner, if he'd been in chase cam, he would have seen that he could have done it, that the nose would have fit. But he's probably driving somewhere on that car with his camera, so he would not have been aware of that opportunity as few corners now remain. Are there any more chances?
I definitely think that he's going to look for a move, especially into this last corner. So many different lines that you can take. And it looks like he might just be out of reach as, yeah, Trouble getting a better exit off the corner. I think Fennec having to settle for P13.
Yeah, that was quite the battle there, but still clean in the end. Good result for Cuckoo, but not the best evening for Keza so far. But I think with the healthy points gap he's got, he's probably still not got to worry too much.
Yeah, I definitely think Andrew's going to be happy with that one as well. Coming to the final round, literally saying, I haven't got a podium or a win yet. And literally on the sprint race, proving that he can in fact get those. So as we head into the next event, I'm quickly just going to disappear because I've realised I forgot to plug my Ethernet cable in. So I will quickly go and do that while Martin does his thing.
And my thing for now will be to read out the race results. So we've got Andrew, who's won the sprint race, followed by Mats in second, Mammoth in third, Escher bringing home the car in fourth. Good result for them. Same for Cuckoo in fifth, Eddie in sixth. A bit of a letdown after that incident. Condor finishes in seventh place, followed by HGM1. Keza was ninth, and the rest we're going to have to see in the screenshot later because the session has now progressed to the next part. So, while we wait for the second qualifying session to get underway, this is the perfect time to go for a toilet break or grab a snack or a drink if you have any, because the second race and second qualifying session will be longer, of course, than the first sessions that we had tonight. Of course, more points on offer as well, so this is where the championship really will be decided between Cuckoo and Keza. Now, a question for any of the people that are still here in chat. What is one car that you would like to see added to AMS2 at some point? As we just received information that the next session will be underway in 4 minutes.
Hello, I'm back.
Welcome back. We've got about 4 minutes left to go until the start of the next session, and Car Lover said he would love to see the 2007 Subaru Forester STI added to AMS2 at some point.
I wonder if they might do just a separate rally pack for that. But I'm gonna quickly. Damn it! You put no for there being a safety car. I'm gonna quickly complete that and start our next safety car.
I didn't earn anything. Get out and vote, people. I need to earn money.
So I will put a I think it's 10 minutes long is the qualifying of this next one. So I'm gonna put a 15-minute prediction. There we go. So for those who want
there's
to,
a bit of beef going on between Fennec and some anonymous driver.
oh, as yeah, I think going into this final round. I mean, where did Cuckoo finish, and where did Kaiser finish?
I believe Cuckoo was P5 and Kaiser might have been 9th.
9th. So means that it's now gone from 23-point difference to a 18-point difference going into this final round. Still quite a margin, but the chance of Cuckoo beating Kaiser is just getting closer and closer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Kaiser is still the favorite to win this title, but Cuckoo's race performance just now has definitely kept their title hopes alive.
As that's a lot of people voting for that to be a safety car.
I'm not sure if you remember, but when Fennec smashed into that braking board, there was in fact a lot of damage from that one. It was both aero and suspension.
Ooh, okay. That's good. That's good to know as well for the future then. But yeah, I mean, hopefully this next race is going to be. Oh, someone's put a lot of money on the line for there not to be a safety car. Uh, that is. Oh, how did Lando Norris the race start? I'm sure it wasn't all their fault. I mean, Kaiser had an absolute Max Verstappen of a start. So was even more points. Okay, once the vote finishes, I need to see how many people vote because I can't actually see how many people voted on what side. Wait, can I predict on my own chat? Oh, I can't. Wait, only 2 people have put. Wait, is it 2? Yeah. I think only 2 people have been putting that much on each side.
Looks like more's been bet on yes to the safety car now.
Oh wait, I can actually have a look at who's voted the most. So Karlover has put the most on yes, putting 714 Niz money. Say yes, there is going to be a safety car, and Tokugawa putting 1k worth of Niz money, and I can't.
As we get a double pointless button press.
I was gonna check that, and I thought it was gonna be something interesting.
Well, there is an extra hydrate from Fennec.
Ah, okay, there we go. As thank you, Fennec. I will hydrate, and you better get yourself ready in the car because qualifying is about to start. This time, not a private qualifying, and the final qualifying for this season. So, best of luck to all the drivers.
All the drivers and their loved ones who may or may not be watching tonight. You never know if a bad crash happens, they might faint, you know?
Yeah. As we watch a very enticing tire wall there.
Zoom the camera in his mouth.
I wish I could now.
Gotta see them tire treads. Actually, these tires do look quite worn, to be fair.
Yeah, as a lot of drivers heading out of the pit. Fennec's the first. Well, that's really lucky you got Fennec first. Fennec, the first one out of the pit lane, so he's going to be one of the first to set the times.
As we go on board with Fennec to see what kinds of lines and steering inputs are necessary around a track like this, and that's an example there of what you shouldn't do.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very wide through that corner.
He's got either a mammoth or a cuckoo right behind as well. I can see him in the mirrors.
I'm trying to work out what number it is from the... As they let him go, what number is that? If that's a number 8, then I think that's a wild mammoth.
That was the 8, so mammoth is going to be the first to set laps instead, and
cuckoo.
both teammates actually, yeah. They could be giving each other slipstream as Fennec seems to be letting everyone through right now.
You get to see a lot of cars here then. Just fly by. As I think, who's that? Is that Andrew? I can never work out if Andrew
he's
or
literally
Escher.
let half the grid through right now. I don't quite understand why he'd leave the pit so early if he's just gonna slow down and let everyone else through.
Maybe he accidentally overheated his tires. I mean,
that quickly?
Who knows? I mean, I don't drive these cars. As we get ready to go qualifying, yes.
And let's take a look at Cuckoo's onboard, of course, our championship contender of the evening. I wonder if slipstream is really a big viable option around this track, because it definitely looks like the corners are very, very challenging with the amount of grip that the rear has. I think any dirty air would definitely cost you quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much the dirty air affects. Actually, from the sounds of it, from the preseason, a lot of drivers were actually complaining about the dirty air and the but saying how good the slipstream was. So maybe it'll cancel itself out, but not too many straight line sections.
Yeah, we're about to get on to the second one now, but it is a relatively short one, and you really don't want to overcook the brakes on the corner at the very end of this one, because it is one of the slowest corners on the entire track as we approach the Three Monkeys. It's a blind corner almost as well, going downhill, unsettling the car quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, these cars already have quite a loose rear, and to have it unsettled going through down almost a B-Tech corkscrew section. It's
As you can just see how much rotation is needed for that one corner over there. It's almost 360 degrees as they're going essentially in the opposite direction after that.
yeah,
This is where the main bulk of the slipstream should be, but Cuckoo's not really that close to their teammate.
Cross the line. They are going to take provisional pole, though.
So not a bad lap in the end. I think Mammoth's definitely going to want to improve on his as Cuckoo now washes out wide out of turn 2.
Just able to
Turn
get
one, rather.
a hold of the car and get out of the way from the person behind, who I think was Ultimate K's.
Meanwhile, Matt's on his banker lap is only 18 milliseconds off of Cuckoo's pace.
Yeah, I
I'm not
definitely.
sure what the times were in the first session, but I think we saw people going into the 35s.
Yeah, I do recall that. I'm pretty sure.
So Cuckoo's now in the pits, so likely only going to get 1 or 2 more runs out of that car before the end of the session. But I think overall track limit's quite well respected tonight. I think this track is not quite one where you can cut that much and get away with it.
Yeah, the grass definitely helping with that.
As our provisional top 4 is now Cuckoo, Mats, Mammoth, and Ultimate Keza, with Andrew just behind in 5th. So that if they end up starting the race in those positions, that would definitely be a very, very interesting fight for the lead.
Yeah, I mean, it would literally be team versus team. It'll be Moisty GP versus the Peaky Blunders.
As we go on board with Mats once again, and just look at how much he's drifting that car. I think that might be one of the things that cost him in the first race, is that he's just using the rear so harshly that it might just not hold up in race conditions.
Yeah, maybe it's raining on this screen, because that is absolute drift mania.
Nah, it's just sweat inside of his helmet. As Mammoth now within a singular 10th of the 2 ahead as well, and actually improving by over a 10th in the first sector. So if he can bring this lap to a good end, he will take provisional pole. Cuckoo should be setting new lap time soon as well, but Mammoth only now leaving the pits. Matt's only now leaving the pits. So he will probably only be setting new times at the very end of the session.
Yeah, indeed, as Wild Mammoth about to pass through the next sector gate. And how far up is he? Ooh, he's
lost a bit of time.
Yeah, but that should be enough just to beat Mats if he can hold it through this final sector.
And Andrew, in the meantime, has jumped Keza as well. The entire top 4 now within 2 tenths.
It's incredibly close tonight.
As we're seeing a lot more of that steer right to go left stuff.
These long corners really making the rears step out from these cars.
That was a very interesting way of taking the final corner there. Not maximizing the track at all, but definitely getting a lot of early rotation. And what's it going to do for his lap time? It's cost him.
Yeah, it's cost him about 2 tenths there in total.
As Eddie now puts it into P4.
Yeah, very unfortunate from Wild Mammoth. 3 minutes left on the clock. So maybe some drivers going to be going out now on really low fuel, because they only have about 1 or 2 laps left.
As Andrews just killed that lap by going onto the grass in turn 1, so he won't be improving anytime soon. Any new laps from him will definitely be at the very death of the session. Meanwhile, Matt's now starting his next hot lap.
Yeah, he's 18 thousandths of a second behind Cuckoo, so any improvement he will be looking for, but it looks like he does have a slower car in front of him, and he's 2 tenths up on his time. But is this traffic gonna cause him some trouble?
It may well do, as he's getting ever closer. He's 1.6 seconds a lap faster than Jedlin so far in this qualifying session, so he could end up getting blocked into the third sector, as I think Jedlin there clearly messing up his own lap now, so it would be in their best interest to get out of the way from Mats.
Yeah, indeed, as they head into Sector 3, Jedlin still ahead, Mats still up on his time by quite a bit.
Oh, and this is going to be infuriating for Mats, as he's in the slowest sector of the track now. But Jedlin now getting out of the way, so there's still hope for Mats to improve on his time, although he will still have one more lap after this.
Oh, and that's a snap of oversteer you don't want to be seeing. Luckily catching the car, but that could be detrimental to his lap time. As it goes through the final corner. How much is he going to be up on the time? He was 2/10 at the start of Sector 2, and is he going to be able to improve?
Wow.
Yes, he does.
So that's even with that snap improving just enough, with half a tenth left to spare, beating Cuckoo to provisional pole, a 136.164. Quite impressive stuff there as he goes on to another lap, and really, as they're kicking out in every corner at this point, will quickly stay on board until we see his Sector 1 time and then switch to someone else if he's not improving.
I'll be honest, from the looks of it, already 6/10 down.
What's Cuckoo getting up to here? They've just started their final lap as well.
Yeah, from the looks of it, it does look like on this track that the rears do overheat quite a bit. So maybe it's only a couple laps, if that, they can do. As Cuckoo is ever so slightly up on their time. They're going to need 0.02 of a second if they want to take that provisional pole back away from Mats.
Well, this is tremendous pace from Cuckoo, because I mean, technically, if Keza ends up DNFing and Cuckoo doesn't get a good result, that would still be Championship Keza. But Cuckoo's definitely got the potential to get a really, really good result tonight. And if Keza ends up having a little bit of bad luck, that could end up costing him the championship.
I mean, Keza's qualifying is over. He has pitted in 6th place as Cuckoo 7,000ths down on their time. They need to somehow find just over a 10th in this last sector if they want to beat Mats.
That was a good entry into the final sector. What are they going to do in the snappy slow corner? That seems very, very smooth if you ask me.
Yeah, indeed, as they head around the final corner. Very, very early on the throttle there.
It's what you want to see, but is it going to be enough? As Cuckoo crosses the line, ends their qualifying, and does not improve.
No.
So Cuckoo stays in second. Mammoth out as well. Eddie still working on his final lap, going into the final sector himself now.
No, and loses it into the second last corner.
As we're treated to some car breakdancing there in the pit lane.
So it's going to be Mats taking pole for the final time this season. Cuckoo lined up next to them in second. Their teammate in third place, Wild Mammoth. Eddie in fourth. Andrew in fifth. Ultimate Kaiser in 6th place. Escher in 7th. Malpova in 8th, Fennec in 9th, Xevious in 10th, HGM1 in 11th, Exus in 12th, Scuderia Condor in 13th, Jedlin in 14th, Trouble in 15th, and Max Manfred in 16th place.
As Andrew there saying he was 2/10 up going into the 3 monkeys, which I find quite hilarious. But there are more than 3 monkeys on this track, so it's not entirely clear which monkeys he means by that.
I know that there's they're everywhere, I think, actually, except for the first corner. I don't actually know if they're in the first corner or not. Be really funny if he is talking about.
Yeah, they're not in T1.
They're not in T1, yeah. I love how I went a bit silent there to kind of focus to see if
we need to add a monkey cam.
Monkey. Oh, that'd be cool if you could create your own, like, what's the word? Like standing cameras.
Oh, that would actually be a great feature.
Bathurst at the oh, okay. The what, the left, right, then left, and before the final 2 corners.
Bathurst at home section.
Oh.
I think we need to get Andrew in here with the commentary. This is one creative guy.
As all the drivers getting their setups ready, and hopefully we'll have just as good as racing as we did a qualifying session. So yeah, Matt's starting on pole. I wonder if they'll make a the same similar start as they did last time and potentially lose it to Cuckoo, who's lined up next to them, and Wild Mammoth just behind, and Eddie, the sub-driver in P4, ready to pounce as well, as we've got 3 red lights, and it's green, 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 and all the drivers off to a great start. Cuckoo getting a great start on Matt's.
Yeah, it's a tremendous start from Cuckoo as they have the line now going into turn 1, but Matt sends it on the brakes.
Oh,
Matt's retaking the lead straight away at the first opportunity, but Cuckoo now holding a nose on the inside.
Now that was very, very bold by Mats, but he secures the move, and oh my god, that's incredibly close behind.
Yeah, I think that was,
more contact!
As some cones are now being taken with the drivers. I think the main casualty there seemed to be... Where is he right now? Hold on. Oh, no. I think Mammoth was one of the cars involved in that, but I think he got pushed straight again. He's now getting tangled up with Eddie for third and dives down the inside to take that podium position.
Oh, but Eddie with the switchback.
Yeah, that fight's definitely not over yet as they come to blows yet again, but Keza... I think he had a bit of contact there, potentially, with Mammoth, but lucky to survive that and come out in P5.
Yeah, indeed, but he's got quite the gap now to Cuckoo, but I think he's still currently leading the championship if this is where the positions would finish.
Yeah, but Cuckoo having a pretty good start to this race so far. 8/10 behind Mats, 2 seconds ahead of Mammoth in third. So Mammoth doing a good job as Cuckoo's teammate there as we see someone coming into the pits already.
I think that looks to be Escher in the pit lane.
That's quickly going to double check on the leading pair here. That's Cuckoo in slipstream going into turn 1, but I don't think they're really going to be thinking about risking too much attacking Matt. So I think it's just going to be Cuckoo trying to follow Mats as he tries to break away from the pack behind. And Mammoth going to be fighting tooth and nail with anyone who dares to approach him behind.
Yeah, I definitely think Wild Mammoth's going to try and rear gunner for Cuckoo here. Try to give them as much opportunity as they can so that Cuckoo can get the most valuable points for the championship win.
Absolutely, and Keza not doing too bad for himself either, being ahead of that massive pack of cars behind, but one spin can send you down all the way to P15 yet again, so the pack's still very, very close as we're on lap 2 of this 26-lap race.
Yeah, so also incredibly close. Let me just set up that camera. As Scuderia Condor
has a chance.
Yeah, looking for a move on Jedlin. Jedlin late on the brakes though, but have they overcooked it? I think they just stayed ahead and stayed on the track. Scuderia Condor.
It was a tiny bit of contact and looks like the inside line is going to be open into the next corner, so he's going to go for it.
Scuderia down the inside, but Jedlin just able to hold it round the outside and cover off Scuderia Condor.
That's impressive from Jedlin to take that line and not suffer from too much understeer there.
Yeah, indeed, to be honest, I'm surprised that there wasn't a potential pit maneuver from Scuderia Condor as well. That was incredibly close and very bold by Jedlin.
Absolutely. As we go down into turn 1 now, let's see if there's any crazy fights going on just up ahead. I think everyone's staying out of trouble for the time being. Speaking of trouble, I think the one closest to him right now is in fact his teammate just behind.
As all the drivers making it through.
Now Andrew is definitely one of the drivers with more pace tonight, looking to overtake Xevious and take the fight to Keza just up the road.
Definitely getting a better run through that corner there. But yeah, around the outside is just not a viable option.
And this race has a mandatory pit stop, right? As Andrew now going for the switchback.
Yeah, this race does have a mandatory pit stop, so Escher probably already doing their mandatory pit stop, potentially if they have had damage, and might try to survive for the rest of the race.
Yeah, I mean, Escher has had pretty good pace in these cars, might not be enjoying the dirty air battles all that much, so they've given themselves a boring race, but could well end up leapfrogging a lot of people that take their pit stop later. As Andrew keeps on looking for those outside line opportunities, but none coming to him yet, as Keza now starting to approach Eddie for fourth.
Yeah, Andrew this time being the one who's attacking. Probably a different experience for him now that he was leading the entirety of the first sprint race.
As it looks like Fennec and Mopiva now have a bit of a run on Condor going into turn 1. And Mopiva looks to be sending it on the brakes.
Down the inside on Fennec. Fennec holding it around the inside, but Mopiva having a bit of contact with Fennec and having to concede the position there.
Yeah, that was clean. Oh, as trouble there flies off the track, almost crashes into his teammate on the rejoin. Now gets overtaken by Condor on the outside as well. Oh, yes. That's a disaster for Trouble.
Yeah, not losing not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 positions.
As Fennec now going off track as well, that's going to cost him some exit speed, giving Mopiva a better run into the next corner. Is he going to defend that inside line? He's not. And Mopiva goes for it.
Oh, a bit of tangling there between the two drivers.
Takes 2 people to tango, and Trouble's going to love this as he's now got Slipstream on the second longest straight.
Indeed, but it's going to be Malva who has the inside to the next corner. And who's going to be late on the brakes? It is Malpava. I say that, but it looks like Fennec coming back and regaining that 12th place position from Malpava.
Yeah, but he's compromised his run by going that deep, but he defends the inside line for the next one. Almost impossible to make a move stick around the outside there as they all slot in behind each other. And meanwhile, up ahead, Cuckoo's still within a second of Matt, so showing very good pace there. But Mammoth, not quite holding everyone back as we might have thought he would. He is closing in on Cuckoo.
Yeah, so whether there's going to be some team orders there if he gains, I do wonder.
I mean, I'm sure there'd have to be. I'm going to be very, very shocked if he actually ends up sending it on his teammate, as he is currently within a second of Cuckoo as well. Keza, though, not able to get by Eddie, so he seems to be stuck where he is for the time being. We're on lap 5 of 26. And yeah, Trouble on that previous lap. I don't think I've ever seen someone lose that many positions for such a small mistake. I kind of think he might have gotten off the throttle a bit too much to give people space there.
Yeah, I mean, better than crashing at the end of the day, but yeah, I completely agree. Maybe, yeah, just lifting a bit too much and as a result, losing so many positions.
And just looking at the lap times now, Escher with his early pit stop setting a 37.4 on the last lap. A lot of midfield people still around that pace, so I don't think he's really gaining that much back there.
I mean, at the end of the day, he's just got to hope that when everyone else goes for a pit stop, that he might potentially just come out ahead of them. But the pit stop window is going to be around lap 13 for most drivers, and possibly for the leader. It'll probably be more towards lap 15 and 16.
As the game seems to be saying that we have quite the tight fight going on the straight. HGM1 only a 10th or so away from Xevious for 7th, but only really letting his presence be known in turn 1. Not quite going for any moves there. But it seems to be enough. He's gone wide.
Oh, Xevious barely saving that. That could have been absolutely catastrophic, but Xevious just hanging on, and the HGM1...
Oh no, he's not hanging on, he's off the track.
Okay, that'll go in the book. As Xevious drops multiple positions, that's very, very unfortunate, and I'm unfortunately going to have to take some of the blame for that.
As looks like we've had another... Okay, I'm not sure if that's an incident or just an overtake, but Jedlin is now up into P9, having overtaken Condor, so he's having quite a good recovery drive, having overtaken about half the field since the start. Fennec now fighting very hard with Mopiva for 11th as well.
As they head into Sector 3, Malpava on the outside, Fennec on the inside. We've seen this before, but Fennec was able to hang on last time, but I don't know whether he's going to be able to hang on this time.
Mats has lost the lead. He's in 3rd now.
That is incredibly unfortunate. What on earth has happened there?
It must have been a small mistake because he was only a second or so ahead of Cuckoo, and he's lost about 2 to 3 seconds, I think.
And Ultimate K's is in 4th as well.
Yeah, he's gotten ahead of Eddie. I was going to mention that when I suddenly saw K's drop off, so it seems like the two teammates starting to attract each other as Xevious also opts for an early pit stop, and I think that's Mats locking up into T1.
So not only are we watching the championship battle here, but we're also watching the team standing constructors battle for first place as well, as Matt's going very wide through that corner. I don't know whether that'd be legal or not. But
I don't think he did anything particularly wrong there, but it's definitely quite crazy, this intra-team battle. I mean, we have both the white cars, both the blue cars. I keep forgetting the team names, but it's everything to play for in these final 19 laps of the season.
yeah, indeed. And I mean, going into this, looking at the starting order, you would have never thought that it would have been Cuckoo, Mats, Wild Mammoth, and Ultimate K's all in the top 4, all battling for both the constructors and the championship win tonight.
Yeah, it is pretty funny as well when you consider Cuckoo, typically known as a strong defensive driver, not typically known as a front runner, also not particularly with having very optimistic hopes going into this final round. I don't think they would have believed us if we told them last week that they'd be leading the race on lap 7.
Yeah, indeed. But now they've got the horror known as Mats behind them. But luckily, Wild Mammoth is also there to pressure. So whether these two will work together to potentially force Mats into a mistake and push him down a bit further, we will see.
Yeah, and while having Mats behind you may be one of the most terrifying things in the known universe, he is known to be a clean driver as well, so at least Cuckoo's got that going for them. Doesn't have to expect any crazy lunges there, as Mats going very deep into a high-speed corner and somehow making it work.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, as we mentioned earlier, the dirty air coming into effect.
Yeah, but you'd think that would send him right off the track, wouldn't you?
Potentially, I mean...
Mammoth, they're getting a lot of time in the slower corners. That could set him up for a lunge. We know Mammoth likes to take a bit more risks than Mats does.
Indeed, as they head into the hardest braking point, and where is everyone gonna brake? I think Wild Mammoth ever so slightly messing up his exit there.
Yeah, as looks like Keza for now just kind of taking it easy behind these people. He's definitely able to match them on pace, as he's actually 2 milliseconds up on his PB, but trying not to push himself too hard here, waiting for something to happen just up the road. He's not going to lose anything if he doesn't push too hard right now, because these people are going to keep each other all very, very busy, as that's Matt's going quite deep.
Yeah, and it's allowed Wild Mammoth as well to gain quite rapidly through this section, putting the pressure on as well.
But look how close Mats is to Cuckoo. Hold on, we need the helicopter cam for this.
Yeah. As it looks like Cuckoo not going defensive. Matt's trying to pressure them into a mistake, getting very close to the back of them, and Wild Mammoth also now getting very close to the back of Matt. All these drivers all within a second of each other. The top 3 all within 5/10. Well, was 5/10 going into the first corner.
It's really, really awesome to see this though.
Oh, bit of contact.
Matt's, yeah, that was Cuckoo going for the smart move there and parking it on the inside. Matt's overestimating Cuckoo's speed and just making contact there, potentially getting a bit of wing damage. So yeah, of course, Cuckoo, while they have very, very, very good pace, not quite as fast in some of these
Ultimate
corners as
Gaze going for a move on Wild Mammoth.
Almost dead named him there. Could hear the P. No, but it's definitely. I think if this had been a battle with some of the drivers who are typically at the top end of the field, I think Matt's his speed would be a bit more matched to them, so he'd you'd be expecting them to be at certain speeds in those corners, whereas Cuckoo, I'm sure, knows this as well. I mean, I've done this as well when I was defending, is if I'm slower than the cars behind you, just end up going a lot slower in a lot of the high-speed corners just to be able to park it on that inside line. And Matt's apparently not expecting that, considering the people he usually fights, but it's definitely brought the two behind very, very close, as well as they're all within about 1.1 seconds.
Yeah, and I mean, who would have guessed the two teams, the four drivers, all this close on the final round? As Wild Mammoth goes a bit deep into the corner, allows Ultimate K's to close even further.
Yeah, and that's once again Wild Mammoth going wide, and just looking up and down the field a little bit position-wise. We have Andrew in 6th, still trying to get closer to Eddie. It's not quite working out, but they are within just a couple of seconds of this leading fight. So if anything happens to either of these four, Eddie and Andrew will get involved. The next drivers are about 10 seconds down the road. And I think there's not really any super close battles down the rest of the field at this moment.
As Ultimate K's gets quite the run off the corner. You can see Wild Mammoth going defensive straight away. Fending off Ultimate K as they head into the next corner. Wild Mammoth later on the brakes, but going to be potentially a bit deep. Actually nails the braking zone. Never mind what I'm saying.
That was a perfect line right there.
But yeah, as it stands, I think Ultimate K's will have beaten Cuckoo by 8 points into this
But Wild Mammoth sending it up the inside of the last corner with his teammate's slipstream. That could end up being an overtake into turn 1. What's Cuckoo gonna do? Did they pull to the right?
No, I mean, it looks like he's helping both of them.
They've switched to the right, but it's too little too late. Matt still has that inside line. That's going to give Keza a chance to send it up the inside of the next corner.
Yeah, very, very close. And Wild Mammoth still barely just puts his nose back behind Matt's rear. Both drivers go very wide indeed. But Ultimate Keza now gaining quite rapidly on Wild Mammoth.
Yeah, it seems like going wide there might even actually slow you down a little bit, as Keza now with a better run, but that is a huge missed opportunity for Mammoth there, not overtaking Mats on that straight. Seems like Cuckoo is more concerned with defending than with whatever their teammate is doing, as they all slot in behind. Only 1 second the gap now for the top 4.
Yeah, 2 laps until the halfway mark, so you might be seeing some pit stops soon. The pit window is going to be open shortly. So,
as Exus and Condor quite close for P8 as well, only about a 10th or 2 separating those two.
Yeah, I think we have lost the drive. I think Jedlin out of the session, so that is very unfortunate on his half.
As I think the two teammates have swapped positions there, but yeah, massively unfortunate for Jedlin, because he...
Oh, there's been contact!
But it's in one of the slowest corners, so it's not really cost him that much. But yeah, Jedlin with a fairly early pit stop and a lot of overtakes as well. Unfortunate to see yet another DNF from the guy, but hopefully he'll be back next season and continue overtaking like that, because it was good stuff up until now.
Indeed. Wild Mammoth looks to be trying to make a move on Matt around the outside.
Oh, he's very defensive.
I think
But
we're going to
made
see
him vulnerable.
almost watching a mirror of what was last lap as they head round the corner again. This time not going as wide. But yeah,
I wonder if Keza said anything in the voice chat about that. His watchful track limit eyes. Meanwhile, Eddie's only about 2 seconds behind them. With Andrew, Andrew's actually closed in on Eddie by a full second as well, so that could end up being a spicy battle for 5th. But
yeah,
we're
indeed.
keeping our eyes on this top 4 battle.
As the sounds once again back. Oh, never mind.
Just look how close Mats is yet again to the leader. They're leaving the door open. But Matt's deciding not to risk it for the biscuit. Lives to fight another day with Wild Mammoth glued to his bumper and Keza glued to his. Yeah, I definitely think Mats is playing the patient game here, but he has a massive wobble, and that gives Wild Mammoth a chance to send it up the inside, which becomes the outside for the final corner.
Yeah, that's the second or third time we've seen Wild Mammoth try and chuck it.
And he's going to have a better exit.
Indeed, it looks like they're side by side.
Come on,
once
Cuckoo,
again
go to the right.
for the third time in a row. Yeah, Cuckoo already on the right. As we watch from Kaiser's point of view, they're side by side. Wild Mammoth, sorry, a bit ahead of Matt's going to the next corner. Breaks a bit later, and I think Wild Mammoth is just going to be able to edge a bit forward in front of Mats before the next corner.
And now Mats has gone deep, giving the position to Kaiser. I don't think that was Team Waters. I think that was just racing, but that puts Kaiser now in the position to take this championship with his own bare hands.
That is, it's all happening on the final race. As Jedlin saying, good job, Mammoth.
Yeah, that was a wonderful move there. I was thinking he wasn't quite far enough alongside because Mats was benefiting from the side draft, but Mats playing it a little cautious on the brakes. They're not sending it into T1. Probably trying to keep these tires alive a little bit longer as he has a slide in the rear. It's going to cost him time, and that puts Eddie now on the back of him. So this has turned into a three-way fight for P4 behind the three-way fight for P1.
Yeah, as we are seeing the first of the pitters as well. I believe Fennec and someone else also pitted a second ago. But yeah, it's all incredibly close, and I wonder whether some pit strategy might actually come into this at the end of the day.
As Mats has lost a position to Andrew, and what happened to Eddie? Where is Eddie? Eddie is down in 7th. He's lost a position to HGM1, but I think has regained it already. What's happening here? Oh, people are pitting.
Yeah,
a lot of people are pitting. That's Mats in the pits, Eddie in the pits, and Andrew.
Yeah, a lot of people following Andrew in to the pit lane.
We are in the halfway point of this race, though, so it does make sense. And I will say, I'm very glad that we haven't had the front runners pit earlier than this, because any of them could have chosen to pit earlier and get past the slower drivers ahead, but they chose to fight it as long as they essentially could. And that is what we love to see. That gives us the best kind of racing possible as the fight for the lead continues now on lap 14.
Yeah, a lot of those drivers now leaving the pit lane who pitted.
I'd definitely be worried if they left the pit lane without pitting. As Mammoth play, I assume he's just going to be playing rear gunner now to Cuckoo and keep Kaiser behind. If he was a real Sergio Perez type of teammate, he might try and see how much he can shove Kaiser off the track.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, I think it makes sense for Wild Mammoth here to play. I mean, it's a very hard decision that Wild Mammoth has, because you've got to also consider the Constructors' Championship here, because Mats has made a mistake. So by them getting a 1-2, as that's Cuckoo into the pit lane, relinquishing the lead to their teammate Wild Mammoth.
That's a pretty good strategic move. I'm not sure if they're going to put on fresh tires, but now Mammoth theoretically should try and slow down Kaiser in the slower sections of this track to guarantee a good undercut for his teammate.
The question is, where is Mats gonna come out?
Well, Mats is currently behind Condor in 9th. As wow, just look at how much he closes on the brakes there. Coming into Sector 3 now. As Cuckoo is lowering that car. Pit stop over already, so I don't think that's going to be even close.
So maybe the Peaky Blunders going, rather than for the Drivers' Championship.
Hold on. Mats is way behind Andrew and Eddie, who pitted at the same time. So that's interesting. I wonder if Mats did something different in his pit stop.
Maybe he got damaged as well.
And Cuckoo's way ahead of even Andrew and the rest. So that's not even close. The people who pitted earlier losing out big time.
Yeah, potentially traffic causing that.
Mats still stuck behind Condor now into T1. Yeah, it looks like a lot of the pack's been reshuffled now. Escher in 12th after his early pit stop, stuck behind Trouble, and all the other drivers behind having a terrible evening as Mopiva is in last, 2 minutes off the lead.
That is very unfortunate. I wonder what happened to Mopiva.
That's probably what happened.
I'm trying to work out if that was a commentator's curse or not, but that is very, very unfortunate for Mopiva.
Definitely something. Unfortunate.
Ultimate K's pits.
Keza, yeah, Keza coming into the pits. Mammoth staying out for another lap, so I'd have to assume that he's going to be pitting as well on the next lap.
Yeah, indeed. But the question is where where is Ultimate K is going to come out compared to Cuckoo?
And shout out to Condor here, because he's kept Matt's behind him for a full lap and a half at the very least. And this is a midfield driver, so that's hats off to Condor there.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, against Mats as well. I think Mats is definitely going to be fuming quite a bit. But as we see, I think Ultimate K is leaving the pit lane. And
he's right behind Cuckoo, so they must have done the same thing in the pits that everyone else failed to do somehow. That's definitely kept the title fight interesting, but the fewer people are around Keza, the smaller the chance that he ends up flying off the track and losing a bunch of positions.
Yeah, I think what Cuckoo needs right now is a good old brake check. If they want any chance in winning the championship, if Keza keeps this up.
Yeah, I mean, just look at those gaps that we've seen created now. I mean, the pit stops have honestly ruined a bit of the battling we saw. Keza is now 23 seconds off the lead, who is yet to pit, but he's about 20 seconds ahead of his teammate, who was right behind him when they went into the pits. So
as Wild Mammoth pits now, so where are they going to come out? Are they going to come out behind, in front, or even in front of Cuckoo?
Just have to wait and see as they're now going into Sector 3. It's going to be interesting to see if Mammoth has a Cuckoo/Keza pit stop or an Andrew, Eddie, or Matt's pit stop. So Matt's now having got past Condor, so he's improving on his lap times. Cuckoo now coming through the final corner as their teammate starts to pull out of their pit box.
I think this is going to be quite a close one. In fact, I think Wild Mammoth might just be able to slot ahead. It's going to be very close going into the first corner. And Cuckoo just gaining the lead back. And once again, we've got Cuckoo in first place, Wild Mammoth in second, and Ultimate K's in third place. And this battle is going to restart all over again.
Yes, I mean, again, they are teammates who are probably going to play the team game, but that is definitely whatever happened in the pit lane, they must have done the exact same thing, because that gap was not very big when they came in, and it was not very big when they came out. This Keza now getting a little bit closer to Mammoth. I assume his tires are in a slightly better working condition after having done a couple of laps on him. But yeah, the nearest driver now, Andrew, 10 seconds behind, so I don't think anyone else is going to get involved in this fight. This looks like our podium.
Someone's made a mistake!
And it's Eddie.
No!
So, unfortunate for Eddie, they're losing a lot of positions. Does he have a damaged car?
Car looks
fine.
Yeah, it looks fine. I mean, a lot of runoff when it comes to this track, but very anonymous tire barrier walls. That was a weird thing. Tire barrier walls. A lot of tire barriers all over the place on this circuit, though.
Yeah, as we see the top three once again within a second of each other, but I mean, this is really just going to be a competition now between Mammoth and Keza to see what happens between them, because I do not think for a second that Mammoth is looking to overtake Cuckoo here.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, if Mammoth isn't backing up Ultimate K's, and Mats has dropped down to 6th place, and the likes of, has HM1 pitted? I don't think so.
Yeah, HM1's come into the pits already.
Okay, in that case, I think these two drivers here aren't in fact looking to win the championship, but are more looking maybe to work together to win the constructors, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's either very close or the Peaky Blunders are currently beating Moisty GP in the constructors.
As Mammoth now taking that defensive line.
Oh, bit of contact.
Oh, that's the risk you take when you get that close to a car that's committed to the inside. Wonder if that gave him any damage. But that seems all fair and clean to me from Mammoth so far. So they all slide into Sector 3 and the most roller coaster-ish section of the entire track.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, currently as well, the Peaky Blunders are going to be getting 92 points if the race finishes like this, and Moisty GP are going to be getting 70. So I think one of them might still have to make a mistake though if they want to end up winning either the constructors or the championship.
Yeah, it's still all to play for with less than 10 laps left of this race. We're on lap 18 of 26 now. The end of the season is drawing near as we see, I think, Trouble or Escher. Someone was losing positions back here, but either way, it's a good fight going on between Trouble and Escher for 11th.
Yeah, indeed. And I mean, there's so many small battles here and there going on. Most of them with 3 cars. As we see Escher looking for a move on Trouble on the outside line. Trouble, though, still has the inside, but Escher quite far in front when coming into the corner.
That's a nice move there from Escher around the outside. Trouble playing it too safe to end up keeping that position as we go back to the top 3 fight now with Keza still looking at the back of that white car just up ahead.
Yeah, just
they approach the 3 monkeys.
Just behind as well, I think it's Scuderia, Condor, Fennec, and Eddie all quite close to each other.
Yep.
As well.
No movement there yet as Eddie messes up his exit ever so slightly. It's very fine margins deciding this race tonight. As we go on board of Keza's front wing. See who is going to get the better run onto the main straight. And it looks like that may well have been Cuckoo up ahead getting the best run, so that's good news for Mammoth. Keza close enough to make Mammoth go for a defensive move.
Ooh, is Keza getting really close as the sound once again cutting out.
Yeah, at least it's been a while since we've seen cars climb on top of each other. That was straight up weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I think One Mammoth definitely trying to rear gunner for Cuckoo here, but I think Ultimate K's, as long as he stays here behind these two, it's going to be a championship win for him.
Oh, look though, Cuckoo a little slow into that corner. That's putting a lot of pressure on Mammoth now as well. As we quickly double check on what's going on here, because Eddie was very close a few corners ago, but not close enough for a move just yet. So back to P1, 2, and 3 we go. As this is what Keza would see from inside the cockpit.
Maybe not as zoomed in as I am, but yeah, indeed, as he heads. I say zoomed in, zoomed out. Did I say zoomed out? I can't remember.
You said zoomed in?
Yeah.
But doesn't look like anything's happening into that sector, so let's take a look at Matt's now trying to get a bit of lost time back from HGM1 now, currently occupying 5th position. Last lap 4/10 slower than Matt, so he's definitely got the pace on the car ahead. This pairing 18 seconds behind the fight for the lead.
Yeah, as Matt's all in the slipstream. Didn't look like he had the best of exits though, compared to HGM1. HGM1 surviving another corner with Matt's behind them.
As we check now on the fight with Eddie and Fennec once again. Still very, very close, but no moves developing yet here. So quite similar to the fight in the front. However, Keza now quite close to the bumper of Mammoth yet again.
Yeah, I feel like this circuit definitely a difficult one to overtake on. From the looks of it, it's the driver making a mistake in front and you managing to get up next to them and just make the overtake then, or they make a mistake, you get up next to them and they just brake ever so slightly later and park on the apex. So yeah, extremely difficult to make an overtake here.
Yeah, but you've definitely got to be aware of your surroundings on this track for sure, because I've seen way more defensive moves tonight than I've seen throughout most of the season, I've got to say. So the opportunities are there, but as the driver ahead, you definitely need to know how to defend to stay ahead as they go on to the next straight once again. Keza getting a bit of a worse exit, so we're going to go back to check on the other fights. Matt's not quite closer to HGM1, as HGM1 goes very, very deep there. And Eddie not as close to Fennec as Fennec is to Condor up ahead. As for the others, I think they are not in too much trouble at the moment.
And he does. Yeah, on lap 22 out of 26. 4 laps remaining of this race.
It's almost over. The season is almost done, and we are about to crown a champion.
Yeah, indeed. And as it stands, Ultimate K's will be that champion unless there is a mistake. That isn't me wanting a commentator's curse. That is me just being factual there. As yeah, Ultimate K's just doing his part to stay in third. I mean, he's got a 12-second gap behind, so even if he does make a mistake, the chance of, unless it's a horrific one into a barrier, the chance of him losing out on the championship tonight is very unlikely, but the constructors still a bit unclear as it goes.
Yeah, Matt's trying to help Keza with the constructors as well. Now really, really close to HGM1, but putting a wheel on the grass is not going to help him overtake the car ahead.
Yeah, as they head into the next corner, HGM1 extremely defensive, and so should he be, as yeah, it is the final part. Oh!
Keza takes out Mammoth, and that is, well, might be a penalty, but he has stopped to ensure that he doesn't gain from it. So now I think that's killed his chances of winning this race, but still hasn't done anything to bring other drivers into the fray. Andrew, even after that, is still multiple seconds off of the pair fighting for second.
Yeah, I mean, that was I think that was definitely a clever move from Ultimate K's. I think if he kept on going, he would have definitely got a C-class penalty from the stewards there, but I think at maximum he might get a B from this. But yeah,
it looks like the fight between these two is definitely still alive, and I mean, this has maybe made things slightly easier for Mammoth in terms of defending, because now he's no longer stuck behind Cuckoo. That gap between P1 and second is now 9 seconds, but K's now looking at the inside line. Mammoth covers him off. I think we've just missed Condor, sorry, losing a position to Fennec, so that's Fennec up to 7th, and Eddie looking to pass Condor as well for 8th.
Yeah, Eddie
just up ahead. Keza still close to Mammoth, and again, Mammoth, no more dirty air in front of him. He doesn't have to slow down extra in any corners anymore. This should be easier for him.
And in all honesty, I think if he wants more chance of winning the constructors, he has a better chance now to slow down Ultimate K's, since Andrew behind them is only about 3 seconds. And
yeah, but I think if he'd gone for something like that, for a strategy like that, I think he would have done it way, way earlier in the race when everyone was still close together, because then it would have had a much, much bigger effect on the race, because people behind would be piling up behind each other and potentially lining up to pass Keza, but that's just not going to be the case now.
Yeah, both drivers doing 38 that lap. Andrew doing a 36. So Andrew 2 seconds quicker that lap. I don't know. I think that was probably because of the crash there. But if not, Andrew could also get involved in that fight for P2.
No, that definitely was because of the crash, because they had that at the end of the previous lap, which would have compromised their speed onto the main straight, as Mopiva now coming into the pits yet again from last place. So fighting until the end, but a painful fight it has been for our French driver.
Yeah, indeed, and yeah, Matt's in P5 as well. I think definitely didn't go for the optimal strategy there.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to what happened in the pit lane, because that's put people like Mats, Andrew, some others as well, completely out of contention for the win. And it's essentially left Keza out there to fight on his own with Wild Mammoth.
Yeah, yeah.
Which, with 2 laps left to go, I mean, the gap's 9 tenths. I don't really see him making that overtake. I think he's going to finish in 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, it could. I mean, who knows? It looks like the gap is getting a bit bigger there between the drivers of Wildman and Ultimate K's.
If the gap between the driver is getting bigger, I'd be very concerned. As they go into turn 1, unhindered by any other drivers. All free to pick their own lines. Of course, Kays is still stuck in the dirtier of the car head, so he's definitely going to be struggling perhaps a bit more than Mammoth. But yeah, just looking at the counter steer, I think he's not really in any position to go for a move here. So let's go back to the fight for 7th, as Condor still not letting Fennec go just yet, and Eddie really, really close to his behind. Well, as Fennec does end up getting off the throttle there, he was a bit too deep into that previous corner. It's giving Condor a sniff of that P7. They're going to hold on to their rears into this corner. It's one of the more dangerous corners, but they do hold on. Is anyone going to send out the inside of the next?
It's like Condor potentially not going defensive into this corner, and Eddie sending it up the inside and looks to have potentially got a better exit. As never mind, as Scuderia Condor comes back at Eddie and gets past him.
Eddie fulfilled the prophecy, but it was not enough to hold on to that position as he stays in 9th for the time being. Condor really dedicating himself to getting that P7 back, and he's not about to sacrifice another position for it. As I think I almost cursed him, but he's got the inside line for the next corner, which is the better line.
If he loses this position, that's definitely going to be a commentator's curse.
Eddie had a wobble, though. He's on the outside for the final corner.
I think he's, yeah, got the momentum, though. His car's still ahead.
This is great racing.
And, Martin, unfortunately, I'm going to have to write that one down in the book. That is a very, very unfortunate there for Scuderia Condor.
Not unfortunate for Fennec, though, because that's given him a nice little gap on the final lap there, as Cuckoo on the final lap in Sector 2 on their own completely, so just having an absolute jolly time out there in the lead, while Keza is still chasing down their teammate, but Mammoth is looking pretty comfy as well.
Yeah, he's 5 tenths ahead, and Keza just isn't in the window to attack unless Wild Mammoth makes a mistake.
I honestly don't see too much movement happening in any of these other fights either, unless mistakes are made. So let's go ahead and stay with Cuckoo as they complete the final sector for the final time this season. Yeah. Cuckoo's done everything they could do tonight to try and win this championship, and they've definitely gotten close. But provided that Keza keeps it on the track for the next minute or so, I think Cuckoo's going to finish this championship in 2nd place.
So yeah, as they round the final corner, it's going to be Cuckoo across the line to win the final round of the season, with Wild Mama following them in 2nd. And Ultimate K's just trailing, wasn't able to get P2, but is able to win the championship, the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, definitely another title to add to his lengthy list. I'd say he's probably the Prost of his league, not necessarily the fastest, but definitely the most consistent, as he scores another podium and another title to boot. Andrew following closely behind. Matt's absolutely dying in P5
How's
with
he done
HTM1.
That?
Oh, probably that way.
as everyone...
2 cars learn what the 4th dimension is.
Oh! As... yeah, a celebratory crash for the end of the season. Everyone crossing the line now.
I think some people just kept on driving. Hold on, let's see if we can find out who that is. Yeah, there's still a race going on here between Andrew and Keza. But I think they've decided to calm it down ever so slightly. Let's find out who's in that hairpin over there, as that's definitely not one of those cars. Ah, there we go. It's the 2 teammates.
Yeah, both getting a 1-2 for the 2nd time in a row, so a really good end to their season. But I do wonder, is it enough to get the constructors.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get the temporary standings up before some of the interviews, because that'll definitely be good info to open with.
As it's going to be Cuckoo to win the race, followed by Wild Mammoth, Ultimate K's in third place, winning the Drivers' Championship. Andrew in fourth, Mats in fifth, HGM1 in sixth, Fennec in seventh, Eddie in eighth, Scuderia Condor in ninth, Escher in 10th, Trouble in 12th, Exevius in 13th, Max Manfred in 14th, and Malpava lap behind in 15th.
And it looks like Matt's ended up clinching the fastest lap as well.
So it is going to be that time. Also, I need to work out how many curses we've got. But one thing is for sure is the unlucky individual. I think, in all matter of fact, we got him last time as well. I'm just gonna make sure. Oh, hang on. Wait. Yeah, I think I'm trying to find out from my previous one if No, it was his teammate we got last time, but it's Exevius who is the unlucky one of the season tonight with 4 commentator curses this season, which isn't actually that bad.
Yeah, but I mean that man has had a lot of stuff happen to him this season besides our curses as well, so I definitely feel for him.
Yeah, indeed. As the interview booth has already got an individual, and I think we
Very
might
shady one at that.
Bring him in, and that's going to be our sprint race winner, Andrew.
Andrew, welcome and congrats on that sprint race win. A lot of good fighting from you tonight. First question, though. What was up with that random song you sent me at the start of the stream?
You know what it means.
I have absolutely no idea.
Well, it's if you scroll up in the stream chat, you can all find it if you want to see, but Martin knows what it means. We all know what it means, and he's just playing dumb.
Well, moving on from that point, first race was very, very good for you. Second race was going well up until the pit stops. What happened in there?
Well, it was just before the pit stops. I had the Chuckle brothers in front of me doing synchronized spinning, so naturally I got caught up in that, lost me 10 seconds, got a bit of front wing damage, and then the pace was never there in the second stint.
Yeah, that's massively unfortunate. That probably 5 or 6 car fight for the lead ending up just being 3 at the end with not just you, but I think Matt's and another driver as well, losing a lot of time during their pit stops. Do you have any idea what happened to the others?
I know it was just before the pit stops. It was Matt, Eddie, and myself all getting caught up. So that's 3 of us. And anyone that's invalid.
Is that the reason you pitted as well, because of the damage?
Yeah, I was thinking about doing it anyway, but I thought I might as well go in now. The lap's already over. So I think all 3 of us went in after that. I'm not sure if those guys fixed their damage, but I left mine as is. It was only 3 on the front wing, but every single lap on the second stint was half a second off pace. So
yeah, that's what 3 aero damage will do to you in this game.
Yeah.
But tell us a bit more about race 1, because it looked like you had a lot of fun there.
Oh, it was there wasn't so fun driving it, having Matt pressuring me the pretty much the entire race. I kept having to tell myself concentrate, because in my head I was like, oh my god, what am I going to say after the race? You know, I was just thinking about having won the race, but I haven't actually done it yet, so I had to focus. I had one moment I missed the braking point and Matt's got alongside me, but I managed to hold him off. So I'm happy I got a race win at the end of the season.
That was a lot of good defensive driving without all that many cracks under the pressure. So would you say that this track, compared to some of the other tracks we've had this season, did you have to do more defensive moves around here compared to other tracks?
No, because I think there's not long enough straights here for the very strong slipstream in these cars to really become a factor. If anything, the dirty air is more of a hindrance because there's so many fast corners. I think that's the only reason I was able to stay ahead of Mats, was he was just suffering in the dirty air and didn't have any straights to use the slipstream to get up to me.
Yeah, I mean, it did look fairly painful, but we did see a lot of people going defensive into turn 1 and the hairpins, if I'm not mistaken.
Turn 1 for me, I seem to always have a good final corner, so turn 1 wasn't a problem. As for the hairpins, I know Mats is a good driver, so I knew he wasn't going to do anything rash. I think I went defensive there once because he is close, but you gotta, like, if you go for it at the hairpin, you gotta really go for it. Otherwise, you're just gonna tag their rear quarter and spin them out.
Yeah, it's definitely a very, very risky move, but you made race 1 work, and race 2, aside from the damage, was fairly good pace. What would you say is your highlight of the season?
Sprint race today. I mean, it's this round is the only round I'm happy with, pretty much. I was bottling all the other rounds, so.
And do you think you're going to be able to bring that consistency into 2025?
Well, we'll see what the update does.
That is very, very true. For the rest, I just want to congratulate you again on that good result, and I'll hand the mic over to Nismo.
Yeah, I mean, on the topic of this being your favorite race, did you do anything different when it came to practicing? Because I saw in the chat that you put, what was it? I haven't got a podium finish so far. Only 4th place is the highest. Did you do anything different? Is there anything else to give you some motivation to push you to get that 1st place or podium finish, as it were?
No, practice was the same as the rest of the season. I just show up at the practice session before the round. It's like an hour is more than enough to get used to the track. I guess maybe I was just more focused and try-harding because I wanted to focus the end of season on a high. Explains the discrepancy between the previous rounds and this round.
Yeah, you definitely showed that. I mean, winning the stock car league, already got an MSR championship under your belt, and yeah, definitely showing that you still have the pace.
Yeah, it's good. I've shown that I can do quite well on circuits with right-handers as well as left-handers.
Yeah.
You better watch out for the circuits that are only straights.
My throttle control, absolutely awful. I'll be absolutely destroyed on those.
Well, unless Nismo has any more questions for our sprint race winner, I'm afraid we're going to have to let you go and say see you next season.
Parting comments. Well done, Kaiser. Fully deserved championship, and commiserations to Mia. She did all she could today.
Was a valiant effort indeed, which we'll discuss in the next interviews. Thanks for showing up.
See you later, boys.
Have a good one.
Okie dokie. So, who do we bring in next? Our race winner? Or do we bring in the 2 teammates? Or do we bring in Ultimate Kaiser?
Let's bring in the 2 teammates and do our championship winner afterwards. He's won enough titles to wait a little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
Welcome, Cuckoo and Mammoth. That was quite the team performance you guys put up there tonight.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, not too shabby, not too shabby.
We were just looking at an incident in race 1 between us.
Yeah, when
Ooh,
Mammoth
what happened
attempted
there?
murder on me in race 1.
Well, yeah. You attempted a dive that we're lucky.
I was alongside enough. I'm sorry. How could you not? I think, what was it? Montoya saying, you either have to be blind or stupid to see me? I was there.
Yeah, anyway, but it doesn't matter, because if you were 3rd, it still wouldn't mean...
Yeah, I know, it wouldn't make a difference.
It's okay, it's alright. You can still see me with the stewards.
Well, I think whatever happened in race 1 was definitely made up for in race 2 with that tremendous team effort there. Mammoth, was there any point in time in race 2 that you were thinking of overtaking Cuckoo maybe for the team standings?
No, of course not. We had a deal, and it's like so many narrow points, and I was just a minister of defense, like war.
Yeah, definitely had to perform under plenty of pressure from plenty of drivers, especially before the pit stop. Now, a lot of drivers ended up losing time with their pit stop. We heard that there was a slight incident before they went into the pits. Did you guys get any look at that?
I was completely oblivious. I'd seen that Mats had gone into the pits, so I was like, right, fuck it, I'm just gonna copy whatever he does, dive in the next lap. And I guess he must have had some sort of issue on his outlap because he was nowhere.
Well, from what we heard so far in the interviews is that something happened right before that pit stop, which actually prompted some of them to pit to fix some damage.
Oh, did he?
There was nothing in the
I don't
con.
think he got damaged though, so I don't know whatever happened, unless it happened like on the lap I did my pit stop and he got held up a bit. I genuinely don't know. I was surprised he wasn't there when I came out the pits, to be honest.
He was stuck behind Condor for a bit, but I don't think that would have cost him really more than 1 or 2 seconds, and the gap was 20, I think. So
Yeah.
But how did that whole?
It was a
first
good
part-
battle with Mats, though. It was. I so nearly got him off the line, and then he did like that outrageous dive up turn one.
absolutely, that I was not expecting
And then
that.
I
I
was
thought you
like-
had him in turn 1.
I was like, okay, well, this has happened. My sort of plan was it's quite hard to overtake here, so I was sort of like, well, let's see if I can pressure them into cooking their tires, because I had a feeling Mats would cook, and I think he cooked and made a mistake coming down the downhill chicane, and he sort of had like a little half spin thing that let me through, and then I just sort of stuck to the pace I wanted to do. I knew it would be difficult to pass, and I sort of had it covered wherever he was sort of having a sniff, so I was quite comfortable holding him up.
And what were you about to say, Mammoth?
Well, I was curious, how did it look like on the stream, that first part of the race? It must be tense because we were so close all the time. Like,
Oh, absolutely. It was
Awesome. We
great
were
to
like
watch.
2 by 2. The two teams.
yeah,
We couldn't get enough of it.
Moisty GP and Peaky Blunders.
like
the
when
top
is it gonna
four
happen?
battling it out.
I mean, that being said, due to Matt's having that incident, I'm still trying to work out in my head if you've won the constructors or not, because you got a lot of points.
Yeah, constructors is a question mark for me. I knew I probably wouldn't get the driver's title. That wasn't really my aim coming into this, but the constructors was a bit of a question mark. So it depends if Mats has had like enough of an issue that it makes a difference, because like they did have a decent like 40-point pretty much gap on us coming into this. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't recall where he finished in the sprint, Mats, but I do know he was 5th or whatever in race 2, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. I think you finished.
Yeah, the sprint he was 2nd. I would imagine they probably win the constructors then. I think.
It'd definitely be a close one though, that's for sure.
Yeah, I reckon we'll close up, but we won't win it. So it'll be a strong 2nd.
Now, Cuckoo, it was definitely a very strong evening for you tonight, ending up winning the 2nd race, and I mean, just blowing out your previous performances out of the park. It was best result of the season when it really mattered for the championship. Unfortunately for you, Keza ended up having a pretty solid race on his end as well. But can you tell us what happened at the start of race 1?
The start of race 1, that was when I had an incident with Mammoth. He was very wide coming out of the sector 1 uphill. He was taking a very wide entry, so I was like, "There's lots of space on the inside. I'm tucked up behind him anyway. Let's try and go for a sniff." Really,
Ooh, a risky sniff on your teammate.
Yeah, I don't think he realised I was up there, and just turned in for the corner essentially. And then I got I was carrying a bit of damage on my front wing after that, so I had to do the rest of the race with damage.
And how much was that?
I think it was only like 4 or 5 on the front wing, but
Ooh, well,
still, I think it cost me a position on Escher, to be honest.
We do know from Andrew's interview he had 3 aero damage in race 2 from right before his pit stop, and he did not fix that damage, and he said it cost him about half a second per lap, so you probably would have lost even more than that then.
I was, well...
But Andrew had a very...
I was doing mid 136s when I was picking up the pace, and in race 1 I was pushing flat out and could only get 37 dead. So I think it definitely cost me the position on Escher, but I don't think I would have caught up to Mammoth.
Yes.
Now, My final question for you, Cuckoo, is how on earth did you manage to eke out that much pace tonight when it really mattered?
I just sort of like this track, really, I guess. I'd sort of known from all season that this car's a bit temperature sensitive. You have to sort of look after the tyres, and then in practice, if you start sliding around in this thing, you just cook the rear, and then it's so easy to lose it. So yeah, we just sort of focused on not sliding, really. And yeah, that plus practice apparently goes well. I seem to be quite good at sort of balancing on power, and this is a car that really favours that, similar to the Super V8s, where I was quite good as well. So I guess it's just a strong car for me, really. So a strong car plus practice.
Yeah, I mean, if we end up with any more strong cars for you, I think this might not be the last time we see you fighting for an MSR title. So keep that up.
I'd hope not. I'd hope not. I did the maths actually, and if round 2 had gone better, slightly better, I would have been about 9 points behind K's coming into this.
Ooh.
So yeah, that was again sprint race of round 2. I cooked my rears and dropped maybe 3 places there, and then obviously I had contact with K's into turn 1, which cost me about 3 places as well.
Yeah, it goes to show even the tiniest of things that happen in a short season like this can have a huge impact.
It could have gone very differently, but I'm not salty because you know, it's still my first like podium result in a driver's standings, so that's awesome. I'm very happy about that. I think I've sort of proven as well I can be up there sometimes, which is very nice.
Back-to-back wins in our team.
Yeah, Kays was saying compare the Pro Car League, my performances there to now. I was like, don't remind me, please. Don't remind me of the Pro Cars.
On the mention of points, the standings have been
there we go.
done, and you
second
did
place.
unfortunately lose just by 10 places in the drivers championship and in the team standings by 23.
And Andrew is 3rd in the standings, so a post-mortem congrats to him.
Yeah, that's because Gillish wasn't here, so congratulations to Andrew.
Big point difference. I thought it was going to be much more narrow.
Yeah, yes. Maybe the sprint race.
Team standings, or
I think
both.
Yeah, fair enough.
I thought it was going to be like 3, and then I was going to die.
Yeah, I think the big surprise this season is Velo side finishing this season in what appears to be P20.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a shocker.
Well,
I remember I was battling for the podium against him in race 1, and then he sort of just dropped off a cliff a bit, really.
Yeah, maybe as you said, the tires and the heat all coming into play.
Yeah, it's definitely this race was the worst for it, but round 2 for me as well was very difficult on the tire heat. So if you get the rear too hot, it just gives up.
And of course, round 3 as well. Like, so hot.
Round 3 was tricky for a different reason.
Yeah, of course.
It was actually. I was so ready for round 3 to end. I was going round with Svi behind me. I was, just let it end, please.
I mean,
but very, very strong season overall. I think these cars have been amazing in terms of like the amount of different people we've had battling at the top. Like, I know Escher's had multiple podiums this season. I know Phoenix got a podium at one point. So like, I'm pretty sure the top 8 have all had podiums in the league, which is awesome. That's, it's a lot of different people that have been fighting up there. So it's been awesome to sort of have battles with people I'm not normally battling with.
Well,
which it's been really, really good in terms of a competitiveness standpoint, I think.
Yeah, both of you are getting 1-2s in the last 2 feature races, I believe.
Yeah.
Will we potentially?
I didn't even think about that. That's true. That didn't even cross my mind.
For half the season, you did pretty well. So, will we potentially see this in the next, I believe, GT3 league of both you and Wild Mammoth on the same team again?
I believe actually I'd already asked Mammoth to partner up with me for next league when we were having the vote before this mini league was announced. So unless he wants to run screaming for the hills, then there's no plans
No.
to change it on my end.
We're up for a championship win, obviously, in the next season.
Oh god, that's
No
pressure.
pressure.
I'm not great
No
with
pressure.
GT cars.
Well,
I say my only other MSR League race win was in a GT car, and then I did nothing for the rest of the season.
That's also my only podium ever when it comes to an MSR championship was in the GT3 cars.
Oh,
I do feel like you've gotten better
GT4.
since then, though, Nismo.
GT4 is the only other win that I've had in terms of race win. And I looked the other day, and the rest of the season, my best finish was 8th. Aside from that win, that was the peak.
I do have a few more questions though for Mammoth. I believe in race 1 there was quite a moment you had into one of the slower corners in sector 3 on one of your rivals' cars. Was that you going for an active move, or was that just you losing control?
It was a bit of both. Because Mats was offline, he made a mistake. Then he kind of went on the inside, and I also normally take the inside line, and I think I just didn't know what was going to happen and just kind of broke a little bit, but it was a move also. So, yeah.
So was that a lockup or just not enough braking?
I don't think it was a lockup, but I just kept the wheel straight so I don't lock up. Otherwise, we would have been out of the track, I think. But I also have to check. Maybe he turned in on me more, or he also didn't expect me to be there at that point. Because I didn't yet show that I can do different lines through that corner.
Yeah, it's definitely challenging in that one particularly. It's a very, very tight corner as well. But yeah, we were on board with you for that one, so that was quite the scare on stream if you look back at that one later.
Curious to see it. But yeah, that particular corner I always took much more on the inside. And I found I just had a much stable car, and also other corners. Like I told you last time that I really don't like the car. I only liked it in the wet, and then I think days later I loaded up the track and I started driving. I was like, I hate this, I still hate this. And then I just kind of cruised a little and I just learned the car, I think. But I drive it quite differently, I think, than most people did, taking these very tight inside lines.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that's probably the best for the tires. To just take the shorter lines, put less G-forces into them, and keep them cool, and it definitely seemed to work for you.
Yeah.
What would you say? Who was the most challenging person to defend against when you were protecting Cuckoo in race 2?
Well, Keize, like I got a fastest lap at some point, and then he got one behind me, like 2 seconds behind. I was like, damn, okay, he got pace because he didn't qualify that well in the first part. Also, he wasn't too fast in practice, and we kind of thought he was going to be slow. But yeah, he was right there. Also didn't really make mistakes in that second part, except for a little kiss in the butt.
Might have to ask him about that one when we bring him in just a second. But Nismo, do you have any more questions for our second place finishers in the standings?
No, except for coming up in the future, there's going to be probably some one-off events for the Mondays instead of a mini league. Have you got any ideas of what might be on for those weeks, or
something fun?
Ideas or suggestions?
Suggestions, and ideas, I guess.
I think we should just do these again.
No.
That was one of the things that the staff members, because we did have a staff meeting on Thursday. That is one of the things we were considering, but then we thought, nah, we'll do some one-shot events.
Shame, these things are great. They might be my new favourite car.
Oh, really? That is surprising.
Yeah,
I would suggest the ancient, was it Formula Junior, like the 70s?
That could be, yeah.
That was actually quite a fun car, and it sounds amazing. So that's like those are the priorities.
Yeah, definitely, engine sounds is what we love to hear in this stream when it doesn't bug out at the very least.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit hit and miss.
Yeah, and, I mean, I remember a couple seasons ago, the most common bug seemed to be the one where cars would phase through each other and climb on top of each other, and now it just seems to be mostly audio bugs and desync stuff. Although the desync has been fairly decent as of late, I must say.
It's not been bad recently. It's been a lot better than it has been, I think.
But Coco, I'm gonna have to congratulate you once again with your second place in the standings and the last race win. My very final question to you before we move on to our championship winner is how many seconds is it gonna take for you to tell Binding about this result?
I'm a bit scared to tell him, actually. Given his reaction every other time I've done well, I'm a bit. He did actually send me a message before the race saying you better win. So I suppose technically I did win, but I didn't
That's
win.
encouragement.
So hopefully that will be enough.
You should have told him
him
to specify.
Yeah, that's true. I'll have to go back to him and be like, "You got it, boss. I won race 2."
Yeah, thanks a bunch for coming on. It was great seeing you two racing tonight, and wishing you plenty of success in that championship title for the future.
Hopefully we're back up fighting for it in the future. And obviously congrats to Kays. I congratulated him on the cooldown lap, I think, or soon after it, because I had a feeling that wasn't enough. And no, it's not. So he's been mega all season. It's the one slip up I had was round 2, and just he's not slipped up as badly as I did there. So it's unfortunate, but really strong performance, and I'm flattered to actually be only 10 points behind him. Frankly, I was expecting a little bit worse. So really awesome.
That was Coco, everyone. Winner of tonight's race 2 and second place in the standings. Looking forward to seeing you again next season. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, and have a good evening.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Have a good one.
Ciao, ciao.
Now to bring in our championship winner. Kayza, welcome and thank you for your patience. Many congrats on once again clinching the title. I feel like you might be hoarding them slightly, but it's been a strong season again.
Yeah, I mean, I actually have no idea how I won that, to be honest. Like, I feel like there's kind of a theme to my championships, because I feel like I've never been like the fastest. I was pretty decent pace-wise in the Formula the Formula USA, where I got my first title, but like in the GT4s, for example, I was in the boat of the Camaro and I had no pace. And today, I mean, I had a massive skill issue in race 1, and you saw I definitely didn't have the best pace in the car. I mainly benefited off other people's misfortune, but I guess that's part of the game.
You did have the second fastest lap in race 2.
Yeah. I think race 2 it was okay. I think race 1 I was a bit too slow because I built a setup that was looking out for its tires a bit. But I mean, it was enough in the end. And
I was pretty much calling you the Alan Prost of the league. Never quite the fastest, but definitely the most consistent. And it's been enough to get you plenty of titles. As for tonight's races, though, in race 1 you had a magnificent start, essentially swapping positions with Cuckoo, who started way further up ahead. But you did end up flying off the track at some point. So before we get to that part, tell us how you started.
I mean, I was just fortunate again, to be honest. I think there was contact between 2 cars in front, which I managed to slip by on the inside, and then Mammoth and Mia actually had that incident, which also let me avoid it, and I just got position, and then I was up to like, what, P4, P5? I don't know. Something like that. So yeah, I would have just needed to cruise to the end at this point, but I had a massive skill issue in the last corner, accidentally shifted to first, and that spun me around. And then I had a slight bit of contact with Eddie and Escher, which went past, and that gave me a tiny bit of suspension damage. And yeah, after that, the car was barely drivable, to be honest.
Yeah, so damage limitation in race 1 with a P9 finish, but very competitive in race 2. Did you end up seeing what happened to the people who pitted early, like the likes of Andrew, Mats, and Eddie?
I only know because Eddie told me that both he and Mats spun. I think Andrew's gap didn't increase significantly after the pit stop. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know about those guys.
Yeah, because that was essentially a 6-way fight for the lead up until that point.
Yeah, I mean, I had at least the 4-way fight in the front, obviously. I think the others already were like 3 seconds off, and then was a bit more, obviously, after the pit stops.
And as for how like what the gap was after the pits, did you think you'd had a decent chance of jumping them in the pit stops, or did you kind of expect to all end up in the same positions?
I expected to be in the same position, to be honest. I was. I mean, it sounds weird because I still was competitive, but I definitely wasn't pushing as hard. You know, I knew that at least a P5 would be enough to win the championship. So I didn't really try to fight Mammoth that much because like he's really hard to get by, and I didn't want to provoke an incident, which ended up happening in the end. But
yeah, tell us a bit about what caused that. I think you were on the inside in the final corner.
Yeah, like I don't want to throw accusations at all, but I feel like obviously Mammoth being Kuga's teammate, he tried to back me up a bit, so he might not been as fast there as well, because usually I was more losing it a bit and like losing a bit of time in the last corner. But yeah, he was just ahead of me, and I expected him to be a tiny bit faster. And yeah, attacked him in the rear. He spun out. I waited for him, let him go. Again, so I mean, obviously he can do a ticket about it, and I would probably get a penalty, but I don't think anything threatening my title at this point because I waited, and yeah.
And for our viewers who may be fairly new to sim racing, can you explain the potential differences in penalty consequences between tapping someone and continuing on, and tapping someone and waiting for them to get back ahead again?
Yeah, like we have different classes of penalties. We have class A to D, which with A being essentially racing incidents and D being like crashing on purpose or like more severe, like incidents. And then other than that, with pretty normal incidents, is mostly between class B and class C. Class B is usually where drivers do an actual error and cause an incident because of that. Usually you get like warning points. If it's a bit severe, you get usually a small points penalty or time penalty around like 3 points. If you get a class C penalty, it's usually more down to recklessness or having an incident and gaining a position from that. Then we would speak more about class C, and you would probably get a bigger penalty there, so a bigger time penalty or at least 5 points. Yeah, that's pretty much the range roughly where most of the incidents are for MSR.
Thank you for the lesson there, and for my I'm not sure if it's the final question yet, but I'm gonna hand the mic over to Nismo after this one. For the next update, what are you hoping that is going to happen to this game? It's obviously taking a while for them to bring this one out.
Yeah, like obviously most people are excited about the new content, which I'm too as well, and the tire model changes. I don't think it will change too much to my driving style personally, because I usually slide a bit less than all the other guys. For the people that like sliding, it might be a bit more difficult after the update.
And why is that?
Because the floatiness should be removed, and currently you can catch quite significant slides. That's probably not going to be possible as much with the update, with the tire changes and the physics changes.
That's quite interesting, because I feel like it's harder to catch the slides when the car is extra floaty. That might just be a controller thing, though. I don't know.
Yeah, could be. But like for me, like I had quite big slides before, and I could easily save them, which didn't really feel that realistic. But yeah, like the thing I'm actually most excited about as a league organizer is that they're gonna fix a lot of the netcode apparently.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, same. But apparently they reduced the amount of data transfer needed by like 70%. So that should help with server performance and stuff like that. And obviously with the LFM integration, I hope for a lot of new players and a bigger player base, so we can actually have the big multi-class league at some point. and stuff like that.
What exactly is LFM integration?
It's a low fuel motorsport. It's pretty popular, especially with ACC. Essentially, it is a very similar ranking system to what iRacing is doing, and the player base on LFM is quite big because of ACC. So I hope that will bring a lot of new players to AMS2.
Wait, is that why the driver rankings are currently broken?
No, I don't think that's just part of the update, because they also had to delete the time trial to wipe them clean. They already posted that you get your safety rating and everything back after the update.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, that's it's definitely been an interesting few years on this game so far. It's been lots of titles, lots of championships, and you've been the big winner out of all of that so far. Aside from you, who do you think are going to be the next two drivers to win a title?
I mean, I really hope that Mats can finally break his curse and win a championship, because the guy is one of the fastest drivers I've ever met in racing, and like usually very consistent. He really had a lot of bad luck with incidents and dropouts. So otherwise, he definitely would have had a shot as well at the title here. Obviously, Gillis, you can never count out. But yeah, like one thing I really want to say about my championship rival Mia right now is that it's absolutely incredible how far she has come. Like I remember the dark days. She hates me mentioning it, but like in the M1 Pro Car League, you know, like at some point people were saying, "Oh, Mia is so dirty and slow and whatever." You know, had a lot of incidents that season. But you know, I mean, how long was that ago? 1.5 years. And yeah, now she's a championship contender. You know, so.
So you're saying you want to bring back the pro cars?
bring back the pro cars, no, no, but like for real, like she came a long way. Amazing pace she had in these cars. Also had some misfortune in earlier races, which definitely would have put her closer to me and have a much bigger pressure hold on me in the last race. And yeah, unfortunately it didn't work out, but like a really, really nice effort, and I hope she will have I think she will have a championship in the future.
All right, thank you for your responses there, Keza, and I'm gonna hand the mic over to Nismo now.
Yeah, I did have a question, but genuinely, I've lost it now.
No.
But I had a question in my head, and it all of a sudden just disappeared. So I'm just trying to quickly think of it again, and that was. I can't remember. I can't. So I think might have to skip me then.
If not, let me just say something real quick, as you know, the last word of the organizer, so to say, for this league. Once again, massive thank you to you guys. I really enjoy watching the races back, and it really brings so much to our community and our league races. So thank you all for taking the time and making this amazing content. I hope you're not tired of hearing it now, because I say it after every season. Yeah, but I also want to say a massive thank you to our MSR guys. We're helping out with all the testing and the ideas and everything, especially also our newest member, Eddie. And yeah, we're also to like what I would call like the pillars of our community, and I don't mean to leave anyone out, but just to name a few names like Mats and Mia and Fennec and Trouble and Escher and Andrew and whatever, like all the people that show up week after week and making these races exciting. So yeah, massive thank you to those guys as well. And yeah, I think that's it from me.
All right.
Well, provided that Nismo hasn't rediscovered his question, I'm gonna thank you for coming on, Keza, and I won't wish you good luck for the next season, because I think you have enough titles.
Well, I think I used it all now, but yeah, thank you guys, and have fun in the last interview.
Have a good one.
Have a good one. All right.
The final person for the evening is the one and only Mopiva, finishing his rookie season. Welcome once again, Mopiva. not the greatest evening for you tonight when it comes to results, but the bit of good news I can tell you is that you ended up finishing in the top 10 in the standings in your very first season.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, it's still a top 10, so it's still cool. But yeah, it was a tough race with lots of problems, you know.
Yeah, tell us a bit about what you were struggling with tonight.
Oh, good question. But I think I just suck at driving, like I was saying with Case. I'm quite okay in qualifying, but then I need to repeat what I do in qualifying race, and it's complicated. I had some contact at both starts, but both time it is my fault. So I need to learn more, learn about that, you know. But every start is really tricky. You have lots of people everywhere, so it's really complicated.
Yeah, absolutely. We're racing with lots of people in this league. Admittedly, not as many showed up tonight, but it's definitely no empty session by any means. And yeah, I mean, up and down the field, no matter where you are, you're gonna have to fight some people tooth and nail for those hard-earned points. Now, race two seemed to be a bit tougher than the first one. What specifically went wrong in race two?
Oh yeah, yeah, race two. So I had at the start I had the front was slow in turn after turn two.
Mhm.
So it was really tricky, and I had a contact with someone I don't remember, but it is my fault. And then I was fighting to come back. I had a good fight with Fennec. So I was P16, and then I came back and I was P10, and then I was catching P9 and P8, and I had a spin at the beginning of the hill, in turn in turn three.
Mhm.
I had a spin there, and then the game. Um, like after this spin, I continued, and my lap time was 3 minutes and 33 seconds. So I was,
Oh, did you miss a checkpoint?
yeah, I think, but
Oh.
because maybe there was 30 or 50 meters between my spin and the place I came back on the track.
That is very unfortunate. So that explains the large gap. But I think we did see you pit more than the others as well. Were there any other incidents later on?
No, 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 no. I pitted at the end because I was hoping for a safety car.
Ah, okay. So
I
in
only
the
hope.
end, it was just mainly that checkpoint incident that put you so far behind. That is massively unfortunate. But now we know to look out for that if we ever race on this track again. Of course, it was your first season with us. Would you say you have a main rival so far?
No, no, no. No main rival. I think my main rival is myself. But I
Yeah, I
had
mean it's
yeah, some good fight with Fennec and Trouble also. So it was cool.
Yeah, and I mean, especially Fennec has a bit of a reputation of being the best of the rest in quite a few seasons. So I think you'll definitely be in contention for some podiums in the future. So you definitely got that to look forward to if you can keep up that raw speed with a bit more consistency. Nismo, do you have any more questions for Mopiva after his very first season with us?
Yeah, our next league is, I mean, it probably is going to be the GT3 Gen 2 league with the new update for the next year. I wonder, are you going to be joining us for that?
Yeah, I think I will be there.
Nice.
And have you raced those cars before?
No.
Oh.
Maybe one or two times with some friends to try them and chill, but not so much. Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly haven't touched them either because I don't even have that DLC.
So yeah, I will have to train a little bit, but I think these cars are cool and maybe a little bit easier than Formula Inter. I don't know.
Yeah, what kind of car would you say is the car that you feel the most comfortable in? Is it an open wheel car? Is it a slow car? A fast car?
Slow cars. I'm quite fast with slow cars, and I am slow as fuck with Formula Ones, for example.
Let's be honest, open wheels are very a fine-tuned taste. Some people hate them. I feel like it's Marmite. Some people love them. Some people hate them.
I think I'd probably enjoy it in real life, but you really need perfect force feedback and wheel settings if you want to be fast in a top speed open wheel car like that. Whereas the slower cars, you don't really need to have that optimal settings for, and you can still have a very, very competitive time with those. So that I definitely think that the slower ones are a bit more, not necessarily beginner friendly, but definitely more more room for error there.
Yeah, it's possible. Maybe it's quite interesting because my setup is quite basic, like laptop. I have three T300 RS, and my seat is not fixed. You know, I don't have a full setup, so maybe as you say, it's quite interesting. But also with slow cars, I think you have more time, you know, to understand what you are doing and to see the turn, etc. So maybe it's easier for me.
Absolutely, and a lot of it is just really waiting for the car to do what it has to do as well, going into the corners, going out of the corners. Whereas with an open wheeler, you almost have to anticipate what it's going to do and react instantly within a split second, which of course is not the easiest thing in the world. But yeah, you're definitely not the only one with basic setups like that. Because for the longest time, I was also just racing with a laptop with my controller sitting in a spinny chair. So it's definitely you don't need to invest big
No,
stonks to be competitive.
no. The setup is it's really I think sim racing is about skill and not about setup.
Absolutely, and I'm definitely hoping myself that we get some more slow cars as well, because I do feel like those provide us with the best racing, even if some drivers think they're a little bit boring. But yeah, here's to the next 2 seasons that you'll be spending with us, and yeah, congrats again on your top 10 result.
I'm quite disappointed about this result, but thanks, mate. It's cool.
We're happy to have you here, Mopi. Have a good one.
Have a good one. See you.
Whee. So yeah, that brings us to the end of the interviews and end of the season, and it's gonna be quite a long while till our next race, which will be probably at the start of the next year. But we're gonna be doing some one-off, one-shot events between that. Hopefully, by then, Reza have also set out the update.
A new delay.
It's gonna be like coming next year.
Yeah, like on the very first day of next year, they say it's coming next year, which means 2026.
But yeah. So hopefully, that'll be a good next season. We're gonna be in the GT3s. But yeah, a really, really good season in total. I think I have my work cut out for me again when it comes to the highlight video.
Well, I will say there were a lot less overtakes this time with how the battles lasted for quite some time. So I think it'll be a bit easier, but definitely a lot to look back to.
Yeah, but yeah.
Before you finish off the stream, though, Isma, I do want to hear from the man himself. What is your favorite moment of the season as head commentator?
Head commentator, come on, I'm the hype man. That's about it. Or as I've been told to drink again.
His
There's
favorite moment of the season was drinking.
No, don't say that because they're gonna make me do more. God, I mean, there's been so many great moments over the course of this season, but I feel like Cavallo in the rain, seeing a lot of drivers up the field who you'd never normally see, and this race as well has been a really good one. But I will be honest, my highlight of the season, and I don't know if this counts, is something you
better not
remind.
be the livery tier list.
No, oh no. That's full of mistakes according to others. But it would have to be something that you reminded me of a couple days ago, and that's a clip you made of it's not actually technically in the official rounds, but in pre-season on the first lap of, I don't know if it was the sprint or the feature race, the first lap, everyone slamming into that brick wall. I don't know, I thought that was absolutely hilarious and a great way to start the season, and I think that just set the tone of it.
Yeah, I mean, I clipped that a few days ago because I was trying to show someone else that moment that we had at the beginning or before the beginning of the season, and I was surprised to see that no one had clipped it yet.
Yeah. No, honestly, that definitely was my top. What about you when it comes
Honestly,
to...
probably the same race, because even though the racing might not have been quite as good, we definitely had more dramatic incidents than I think we've had in quite some time. Like,
yeah,
I'd say the second half of the season was full of a lot of really good racing and not that many incidents. But I don't know, the shock factor of having multiple incidents that involve multiple cars in the same race, it's pretty hard to top that.
yeah, indeed. Especially since I think out of the four
And all the safety car money.
out of the 4 official races, we only had 2 safety cars, and they were both in round 1. Ignoring preseason, where we also had another 2, I believe. So
see, I still remember the good old days in MSR when you'd have a safety car in race 1, and then you'd like nowadays you have a safety car in race 1, and it's like, okay, well, they're gonna have learned their lesson. There's not gonna be a safety car in race 2, and that's how it ends. But back in the day, you'd get a safety car in race 1, and you're probably gonna have like 2 or 3 more in race 2.
I mean, oh yeah, it's oh, honestly, it's been such a great season, really clean season, as well. A lot of new faces and a lot of unfortunate times, but some great times, of course. Some great times, of course. But yeah, I think a really good season in total, and hopefully we'll see you guys next year for the next commentary, but probably next week for the next event or on Tuesday. But until then, guys, it's been a great one, and have a good one.
Good night, everyone.
And they're off. Green flag racing. Matt's getting an amazing start. Ultimate Case actually catching speed, napping. Matt getting the jump on his teammate down the inside. Necron losing to Cuckoo on the start. Oh! Can he pressure Dino into a mistake? Dino goes too wide and extremely close for P1. And is this going to be Jedlin going down the inside? Oh, there's a bit of contact. Oh, that's a spin. And there's another safety car. Oh my god, this carnage.
Jedlin and Kaze are both in the pits. Fennec, Exus, and Dean are all coming in as well. It'll be very tight if he still wants to make it to the back of this pack, but in the meantime, we do have everyone out of the pit, so we're probably going to get going on this next lap. We are, in fact, restarting now, regardless of that incident.
Okay, he's looking for that undercut. Does he get it? It looks like he might do that side by side and very close together. Cuckoo looking for that inside line on Jedlin ahead. Going into 130R, but they're going to be wanting to go fully defensive into the chicane of Casio Triangle. He's going to end up finishing in P1, crossing the line. Greenlink's going to across the line. It's going to be Ultimate K's across the line.
Gilish comes across the line to win his second MSR title.